Been wanting to go out and throw hands anyway.
Am I going to catch some smoke is all I'm saying.
Good morning.
Early in a day that it's gonna be a day. You know how sometimes you're just having yourself a morning, and it's hey man, you can grind, you can bust, you can go. Everything's set up, everything's ready. You went to go see a Stevie Nicks concert last night, so you did all the day's prep work before you did, so that you could come home and go straight to bed.
Stevie Nicks, who's that?
Don't you play this game?
There are some people out there who don't know who she is.
I'm in a mood this morning. All right, I'm gonna tell you, I'm in a mood.
I got
a lot going on right now.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I got to bed. I was going to say early. Let's just go with earlier than usual last night. And I'm real excited about the day. All right. Real excited about the day. We got a good day today. We got a good show lined up. We got Rashad Beard coming up later on in the program, talking Carolina Panther football with us. We got Fight Club with the great one, Lonzo, coming up at 9:20 this morning. We got Nick Saban in the news today. We're going to talk about what the GOAT has to say about college football. We got a lot of stuff. I'm really excited about the day, but there's more. I did get to go see Stevie Nicks last night, an icon, a legend. The one of, if not the, queens of rock and roll.
I cannot wait to hear if there's been decline. I mean, I don't want there to be.
She's almost 80 years old.
Right. And I'm curious because some people's voices just don't go away.
She held up.
Okay.
She held up. And we'll talk about that later on in the show. I got all this stuff going on. And on top of all of that, coming up at 10:30, so you guys won't hear it today, but it will be played back tomorrow. Coming up at 10:30, we have joining Lonzo and I on a recorded live stream that will be, again, played back for you guys tomorrow. We have joining us the leader of the Judgment Day, one of the GOATs, maybe, and this part I'm not being funny about, maybe the funniest man in the history of professional wrestling, R-Truth, joining us. Because Sunday is Professional Wrestling Day for the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. They are celebrating all things squared circle, and they're bringing down to celebrate with them R-Truth. And because this is the Rob Brown Show, and because the Swamp Rabbits and the WWE know that if you want to pimp something in sports in this area, you got to give it the Rob Brown Show bump. So at 10:30, Alonzo and I get off the air at 10. Got ourselves a quick little break, and then we're going to pop back onto a stream and push record and have us a little discussion with what a guy I genuinely consider maybe the funniest man in the history of the business, R-Truth. And I'm looking forward to that. Well,
so I'm a little nervous about that.
I love this conversation. Like, R-Truth is only a guy that I'm nervous about to talk. Most of the guys we've had talks with, not nervous. Not nervous about Gunther. Not nervous about Matt Hardy.
Gunther was in the room. So
wasn't nervous about Gunther until he walked in the room. And I'm like, oh, you're a big son of a...
Yeah, there was the glint in his eyes when I asked him if he'd ever made anyone cry. That just scared me a little. I mean, it's just...
I was not nervous about him, Matt Hardy, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, all friends of the show. I'm nervous about R-Truth, and let me tell you why. Because R-Truth might be funnier than me. Nobody's funnier than me. I'm the funniest guy I know, except maybe R-Truth. So I have to be on the A-est of A games today with R-Truth, as do you.
No, I'm not trying to one up this. I mean, I got questions.
Not trying to one up.
I'm
trying to give him greatness, the foundation, the opportunity for greatness.
We don't need to give someone greatness who already has it. We just need to bask in the glow. That's what we need to do. And ask some wrestling because we're not fake wrestling fans. We've been around for a while
now,
and we've got some legitimate questions to ask, and cannot wait to hear the answers to those questions.
Let me tell you why I already know today's gonna be a day. Because first off, I wake up this AM. Before I even get
by the way, that's a good thing. You wake up. Yeah, I mean, that's a great thing right there.
Good part.
Yeah.
I wake up this morning, good part, off on the right start, right off on the right step. And usually the way the morning process works for me is when I wake up, the alarm goes off and I reach over and I grab the phone and I pop it open and I see, all right, what sports stories broke while I was asleep? What emails have I gotten from maybe some bosses that were awake into the evening hours? I know at least one of them was at the show last night, so I was good there. And I see an email from the big boss. It says, hey, we're power washing the whole building today, so do not park in a parking spot next to the building. No problem. It's not that far to the next row of parking spots. And while I am lazy, I'm still a top-notch athlete.
Yeah, I got
15 feet of walking that hurt me.
Yeah, I got some stair work myself this morning. I wondered why everybody else was parked away from the building and figured, I probably should, but I'm not doing it because I'm a rebel until I got upstairs and read the email. And then I went back downstairs and moved my car.
No problem with that. Totally fine. I'm glad. Glad we're getting a fresh new coat out on the building, putting up some new signage.
I'm just curious about which way the wind is blowing because we moved our cars out of the way. If the wind is blowing a certain way, our car's getting hit anyway.
So I parked out on the second row and no worries, got all my stuff out, hauled it upstairs, got set up, got to work writing a sports flash, got to work putting stories together, got to work drafting the bullet point outline for the show, got to work putting some questions together for Rashad Beard, got to work putting together some questions for R-Truth. And last night at the show, was having a text message conversation with the director of talent relations for WWE. And I will tell you, I had a bit of a moment because I got the text that said, hey, Rob, this is Stephanie with WWE. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
what?
I would have thought the same thing.
It's not her. It's not her.
Yeah, but I think anyone would have thought the same. She's got to have fun with that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? Because I know I would.
For sure. I'm like, wait. And then I'm like, nah. And I went and looked it up and I'm like, all right, I'm not currently actively texting Stephanie Levesque right now. So she says to me during this conversation, she says, hey, do me a favor. When you get into the building tomorrow, she said, send me the link to the StreamYard as soon as you can. I like to make sure that, Truth is going to have it early so that we can be on a schedule. And I said, that's great. No worries. I'll text in the morning. So I came in extra early this AM, despite being out till 11 o'clock at a Stevie Nicks concert, came in early this morning to make sure that was all good. And I get the studio set up. And then I go to send the studio and my phone says, failed to send text message, no network available. And I'm like, uh-oh. So I look and sure enough, no network available. Now, this young lady from WWE said, please try to send it to me by around 7 a.m. And I'm like, yeah, no worries, right? I don't have an email. All I got's a phone number. So I said, no worries. At 5:30, I'm trying to send her this invite. Can't go. No message. No network. I'm like, what are we doing here? Look down on my phone. No network. Got the little exclamation point where my network signal indicator is supposed to be. Restart the phone. No dice. Airplane mode. No dice. Go look on the website for the troubleshooting. Do all the steps. No dice. And then I pop on Twitter. And what do I see? trending in the United States right now with 1.17 million tweets over the past couple of hours is AT&T. Now, I don't mean to Gunther AT&T live on the air, but I'm not saying this is not an opinion. Apparently, AT&T, the provider that I use, has their entire nationwide network down right now. Now, that sucks for America. That's rough for the millions and millions of subscribers on AT&T. But I'm going to tell you, if we end up missing this interview because I can't send a text message link to this lady, I'm gonna have a problem. And on top of all of that, even worse than the potential to miss the interview with R-Truth is the fact that, remember earlier in the story when I told you that I had to park in the next line of parking spots over? Not a problem. I don't mind the walk. I parked. I got upstairs. I walked into the studio. I looked down at my vehicle, which I can see from the studio today, and came to the realization, for those of you that watched the stream, you know that there's a lady who works in the building across the parking lot for us. And every day she parks her SUV in the parking lot, and every day she manages to somehow be outside 2 of the 3 lines in her parking spot every day. And guess where Robbie B parked this AM? Robbie B parked literally in the spot next to where she parks outside of the line every single day. So I'm going to go ahead and say, if any of you happen to know the lady who drives the silver SUV and works in the building across
don't
from
do
us,
that. Don't.
Listen, I'm not saying do anything. I'm just saying send her a text this morning and say, you better keep it between the lines because Rob Brown's got plenty of smoke right now. And he's happy to give the smoke away.
There were other spots you could. I parked in a spot that's protected on 3 sides.
I wasn't thinking about. I got here at 4:30 in the morning. I was not thinking about it. I was not thinking, hey, I better park somewhere else in case that lady once again fails to be inside of the lines drawn on the ground.
Well, she's consistent every day.
Every day.
Yeah. So there's that.
So all I'm saying is, if you hear the sound of, let's say, discourse rumbling across the upstate at, say, 11:30 this morning, just please know it's because lady in that car once again went outside the lines, except today, Rob parked next to her, and I got no time for it. Yesterday, I had to go to Target. Picked out a new outfit. By the way, you like the new shirt? Kind of like the new vibe. Kind of a new thing. It's like a flannel, but not like a flannel.
But the black's my deal.
I like the vibe. No, it's not. No, it's not. What the hell are you talking about? No, it's not.
Yeah, I am the man in black on this show.
You wear red. Oh, okay.
All right.
During
football season. Yeah. Yeah, but the V-neck, man. I've never got the V-neck.
I'm that guy.
I don't know why you're doing what you're doing, because that's weird.
I'm that guy.
By the way, you can see what he's doing on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or X if you want to see it.
Went to the Target yesterday.
Did you notice how all the women look alike and sound alike in Target?
No, they don't. Stop.
They absolutely do.
They absolutely do not.
They do.
Went to the Target yesterday. Got into the Target yesterday. Parked at the Target. Went into the Target. Picked up a new shirt. All right. Picked up some new duds to take the lady out. She loves Stevie Nicks. I wanted to make it a special night for her. Went and dressed myself up, gussied myself up a little bit. As I'm going to leave the Target, what do I see next to, you'll keep in mind, my brand new car, my even after a trip to Florida, less than 10,000 miles on it car. My car that I still owe tens of thousands of dollars on, my new car.
Yeah, me too.
I walk out, and in the spot next to me at the Target is a minivan with like 9 kids in it that is parked with its entire tire in my parking spot on my driver's side. Entire tire. Which means Rob Brown can't open the door to the rig to get in. So I look in, there's 9 kids in this van. I'm assuming ranging from somewhere around 15 down to like 4. And I'm like looking in the van, no adult in the van, just like 9 kids wrestling around in the back seat. I don't do this because, listen, I'm a big, generic white dude. I am not going to walk up to and start having conversation with random kids in a parking lot. It's a bad look.
You're also a noted hater of children. So you walking up and talking to kids would be a big shock.
None of that's true. What is true is, as generic, large, scary white guy, I'm not just going to engage in conversation with any kid in a parking lot.
You are not. You are not scary.
Bad look.
I'm scary. You are not scary.
No, Lonzo, if you don't know me, at going 6'3", 250 and with a strut, sure. So
you look like Trader Joe's Target guy. So you're fine.
What is with you this morning?
There's a look. I mean,
Trader Joe's Target guy.
You're a hipster. They're not going to be afraid of a hipster.
Basic next. No, say you're a basic.
No. Hipster is not basic. But you can't be afraid of a hipster. Those kids wouldn't be afraid.
Target's not hipster. That's definition basic. That's why you say all the white girls look the same in the Target.
They do. They sound the same too. Okay.
So, knock on the window, because not only are they on over the line on that side, but on the other side can't get in on the passenger side.
Well, can these kids drive?
No, they're like 12.
So why are you knocking on the window? They can't do anything about it.
I needed to know, hey, have your folks or whoever, the people who kidnapped you, whoever, have they been in there a while? Like, do you think they're going to come back out anytime soon? Because I can't get in my rig and I got to go. I got a dog. I got a fiance. Both need to be taken care of. Can I leave?
All right. Proof that you are not basic. Basic would have went into Target, talked to the people to get on the intercom and say, the person who owns this vehicle.
Will the jackass in the silver minivan please come move your car before Rob Brown goes full Hulk and flips it? Will the jackass in the silver minivan please? But your kids are destroying their future being trapped in that minivan. Will you please come move your minivan? There's a local radio dude outside that says that he's about to go demo derby on your car. Please come move your vehicle.
I was infuriated. I was trapped in a Target parking lot for 4 minutes.
Wow.
4 minutes I had to wait for these people to come back out. And of course they come back out and they're like, oh, we're sorry. And of course, because I'm not a scary person, I was like, don't worry about it. It happens. In my head, I'm like, I wish I was Magneto so I could levitate your car into the air and fling it off into the forest.
Well, why didn't you ask the kids to get out and play a fun game called Bounce the Minivan? And you could have bounced it over into its parking spot and you could have got out.
For the love of all that is sacred and holy, people, please learn to park. I'm begging you. Like, half the stress in the world would just evaporate if nobody ever had to deal with people who can't keep it between the lines.
Do you ever think about like parking further out to see if maybe
it's Target? Every spot is further out.
Okay. I don't know which Target you're going to, but all right.
Listen, I don't. This has been my thing forever. All right. This is why. Here's the one that's got me in trouble. Don't care. I don't think you should be able to buy whiskey after 7 o'clock at night because that's how. I don't care. I want whiskey after 7 p.m. And if I run out of whiskey, I should be able to go buy more whiskey because I'm an American. All right. Just because it's a thing, you should not ask me to inconvenience myself in my life for anything about you. Okay? If you can't park between the lines, then you take your ass out to the empty parking lot, not me. There are millions of Americans who are capable, who have the basic motor functions to put a car in a parking spot without crossing any lines. If you can't do it, then you take your minivan to the other side of Nebraska and park it. Don't ask me to do it.
Do you have the same problem when you're parking at Trader Joe's or Whole Foods?
First off, Whole Foods is spectacular. And I'm going to tell you right now, right over here, there's a place called World Market. It's even better. I'm a big World Market guy now, too.
Okay, all right.
They've won me over. All right? I am a large felt khaki-brimmed hat away from being basic, and I don't care. Keep your cars between the lines. Keep your cars between the lines.
Well, we know what time she rolls up. Every day, at least I do. So I'll be keeping an eye out.
Standing guard in that window like I'm watching over the most high security prison in America.
That spot is wide open right now. So, I mean, another one of our employees might show up and take it, but for now, it's open.
Carpool Mom texted the show. She said, "Good morning, Rob. Carpool Mom here. I guarantee you Target Mom had no idea she parked on your line. The screaming in the back of the van numbs your senses for years. I know, LOL." Carpool Mom. Let me start with this. You know I heart you, right? You know I love you. You're P1. You're VIP. You text the show all the time, and I respect and appreciate that, and I love you for it. Then keep your kids, keep your what do you call it? Your just your litter.
Children? I mean,
Yeah, but
children
like
is
the group. What do you call them when they're in a group of
family?
9?
You call them family? I mean, I don't know.
Listen, if you are at a point where you acknowledge that you are too driven insane by a minivan full of kids to keep it between the line, then park in the back of the lot. What are we doing here?
What if those were orphan kids and she was going there to buy them socks and they really needed socks for school? So she had to rush in to get those socks for them for school. You still, those orphan kids, you don't care.
No.
Okay. All right.
It was 2:30 in the afternoon. They missed school. It's too late for school. You're late, kids. You missed out because you needed socks. I don't know what to tell you. Texas says, Coach Rob. I like this Coach Rob thing. I'm good with that sticking. Coach Rob, I'm old, and now it's my turn to park all jacked up. I spent 45 years screaming at others in their bad driving and parking. Just wait. Texas said, the word you're looking for is crotch goblins.
No, that. By the way, I believe that's 2 words unless it's hyphenated. But no, that's not the words that he's looking for.
I gotta go to a break. I was not ready for that text. All right. Woosah. We're good. We're back. Whoo. Crotch goblin.
I hope so. You got a live to read. Come on, pull it together.
Coming up in the next segment of the show, ladies and gentlemen, the college football playoff expanded to 12 teams. We know that. The vote officially happened yesterday. And also, RIP the 12-team playoff model because it's dead already.
Remember, I asked you yesterday, and now this is in the news today because, that's what I do.
We're telling you what we mean when we come back. It's Rob, it's Lonzo, it's you, it's the Rob Brown Show, it's the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, stay right there. I got a live ride. We're coming right back. A live ride? A live read. Stay right there, BRB. right, everybody. We back. Thanks for hanging in there, guys. Fred, what's up, big dog? Get threatened with insubordination and suspension going above and beyond your job. Can't say I have. But it sounds like you have.
Deal with insubordination all the time. People don't respect my authority.
Too. Are you working out and listening to this ad at the same time? Well, multitasking pro. Cars like the ones in the gym parking lot are for sale.
So chances are, possibly, WWE is also on AT&T, and but it's not just AT&T. I just looked it up. It's also Verizon. And,
oh, really?
Yeah. So, more than likely, I wonder if it's ransomware. You wonder if it's something like that, or the end of the world is nigh, starting with this, because you can't report when the parachutes happen, like in Red Dawn, because keep my eyes towards the skies just in case. And I'm immediately going into engineering and helping to fashion weapons so we can defend this house.
And the keeper of all things cool in the sports world. This is the Rob Brown Show.
The Rob Brown Show continues. It is the Fan Upstate. Robin Lonzo with you. 2 days ago, the College Football Playoff Board of Managers got together, and they voted unanimously to approve the switch to a 12-team playoff system. They are going with the 5+7 model. That is, the 5 highest-ranked conference champions plus 7 at large. That would be the next 7 highest-ranked teams. 9 out of 10 times, that is going to result in your 4 Power 5, the 4 Power 5 conference champions, plus 1 G5 champion, and then the next 7 highest ranked teams. That's good. I like the expanded playoffs. And then 1 day later, not officially, but pretty close to it, because this is not a conversation they're going to back down from. RIP to the 12-team playoff model. Because yesterday, the College Football Playoff Board of Managers began their next discussion. Their next discussion? Expanding the 12-team playoff model to a 14-team playoff model. Not 16, not adding 4 more, adding 2 more, taking it to 12. What's that look like? We don't know yet. Because you'll also remember that yesterday I told you there was an inevitability coming down the pipe. The inevitability that was coming down the pipe was that the SEC and the Big Ten were going to ask for more automatic qualifier positions. They were going to ask that more teams from their 2 conferences be allowed in every year as a guarantee. And I also told you that was definitively going to happen. Why? Because with 18 teams in the Big Ten by the time 2026 rolls around, and at the minimum 16 teams, though I would not be shocked to see that expand depending on what happens with the ACC litigation, but at the least 16 SEC teams and 14 spots to divvy up between all of college football. The teams that bring in the most money are always going to have spots made for them. As I have pointed out many times, I am convinced that's the reason that Alabama was in and Florida State was out this past season. But we'll put that to bed for a minute and stick with where we are. It's very simple. More teams, more games, more money. That's it. I saw the conversation on social media. Why are we already talking expansion? Why not play out for at least a single season? Why not play out at least the 12-team playoff once? And then let's circle back around after we see it played out once. Instead of just going immediate expansion, maybe iron out the wrinkles. I don't know why I felt the need to act out ironing out wrinkles, but I did. Why not?
You missed a spot.
Damn it, always do. Why not run it for 1 year, circle back around, iron out the wrinkles, and see? And the answer, dudes and dudettes, is you're overthinking it. Because more teams equals more games equals more money. That's it. That's it. If they expand by 2 more teams, I will be willing to just about guarantee, as I predicted yesterday, and I feel even more confident in this prediction today, the Power 2 conferences, the Big Ten and the SEC, the Power 2 conferences are inevitably going to receive a second AQ position. I think in 2026, when we get there, because that's the earliest the 14-team model would come into play from what I understand. In 2026, there will be 2 AQs for both the Big Ten and the SEC. And my belief, my suspicion is that you are going to see participation in the conference championship game of the Big Ten or the Southeastern Conference enough to earn you an automatic qualifier position. Just get into the conference championship game and you're into the playoffs. There has been a discussion about the playoff ongoing, that it is bad, and it is bad because it is going to decrease the importance of the regular season. Let's call it what it is. Michigan v. Ohio State loses a little bit of its luster if both of those teams enter that game at 11-0, because at 11-1 out of the Big Ten, assuming both teams get there in an expanded Big Ten, at 11-1, you're gonna be one of the highest 9-10 teams in America. You're going dancing. You may not get to, you may not get a bye, you may not get a top seed, but you're going to the dance.
Doesn't take away from a rivalry game, though. I get what you're saying. The stakes aren't as high.
The stakes aren't as high.
But at the same time, the stakes are high because you're fighting your hated rival. I mean,
I don't disagree. You don't disagree. Television networks do. The reality is people are going to tune in on rivalry weekend to high-name rivalries in the order of the weight of the stakes on that game. If Michigan and Ohio State, as they were this year, are battling for, it felt like, an inevitable playoff spot, that game holds weight to somebody who is not a Buckeye or Wolverine. Let me clarify that.
I get what you're saying, because I'd be interested if they were both 0-10 going into it.
The clarification is not for you, noted Ohio State fan Lonzo. It is not for my buddy Bob, who is a big Michigan fan. The weight is not on Buckeye fans or Michigan fans. The weight's on the rest of America. The game is a very attractive game if Michigan and Ohio State are both 11-0 entering it. And at 11-0, we both know winner of this game's going to the playoffs. Winner of this game's it. There's weight to that. If going into this game, they're both 11-0, they're both at, let's say, ranked, I don't know, hypothetically, 1-2 in America, 2-3 in America, they're both going dancing. We know this already. So the weight's not there. The reason that the 14-team model seems attractive is this. Because while it might create a situation in which Ohio State, Michigan maybe loses a little bit of weight, you know what it changes? all of those games being played between a one-loss team and a two-loss team, two two-loss teams, somebody taking their third, two one-loss teams, but two one-loss teams that only one of them can go to a conference championship. These are all games that in years gone by would not have had that weight. We as fans would have got jacked up about that. But now all of a sudden, even though Michigan, Ohio State isn't for a playoff spot, all these other games are. All these other games are. And if it does go down the path where participation in a Big Ten Bowl or a Big Ten championship, participation in an SEC championship earns you an automatic qualifying spot. Effectively, if you win that conference, you get a bye. And if you lose that conference, you host a game, but you got to play one extra game. Now there's weight to that again. Because if you're Michigan, Ohio State, and you lose that game and you do not go to the Big Ten championship game at all, that's not an AQ spot for you. Now you've got to get an at-large bid. And more importantly, there's the same number of at-large bids, but there's another one that has been eaten up by a team that's going in but will lose the Big Ten championship. Michigan goes in, they play Iowa in the Big Ten championship. Iowa is 11-1 going into that game. But the Big Ten has two AQ spots, one for both divisional champions or whatever format they end up with down the line. They get in. Now there's one fewer at-large spot. And if you're Ohio State, even though you're better than Iowa, you lost to Michigan, who also gets an AQ spot. And now you've got all these other teams in the mix that you've got to worry about. Will there be enough spots for me?
Will this lead to what some things are doing and just eliminate divisions in the top two? Go every time.
I think you that's already happened.
Yeah, but it hasn't happened in the Big Ten yet. So
it hasn't. It's going to with the addition of the Pac-12 teams.
Yeah,
regardless of the playoff setup.
Yeah, but in order to make sure that your top two teams make it into the playoffs, you have to eliminate the two divisions because the other division always ends up with the weakest team, and you don't want them getting that number two bid, right?
Divisions are going away across the expanded conferences. The SEC and the Big Ten for sure. There are no more divisions in those conferences. It is going to be at the end of the year, whatever two teams have the highest in-conference winning percentage, knowing that you're going to keep, or at least I think for most of the conferences, and we're talking about, by the way, we're talking about 2026, 2027 now. Knowing that you're going to keep rivalry. There's never going to be a point where the Big Ten does not schedule Ohio State, Michigan. That's never going away. Iowa State is always going to get played. That's never going away. In the SEC, Auburn, Alabama is never going away. LSU, Arkansas is never going away. So you'll play a rotating base, highest win percentage, best two teams in the conference will then play, even if they played in the regular season, again for a Big Ten championship or an SEC championship. Now, I will say, obviously, it does kind of take a little bit of the weight of a conference championship away because, I think down the line, you're getting AQs for both conference participants in the Big Ten and the SEC. But those conferences want guaranteed spots. It's money. It's money. They want guaranteed spots. They want AQ spots. And they're going to get them. So I'm not shocked that they are looking at increasing two teams. What I do have a problem with is them saying, oh, we're increasing by two teams and we're doing it for accessibility. No, you're not. Because unless you are willing right now to commit and say that the new two spots, the expanded two spots, are not automatically going to the Big Ten and the Southeastern Conference, then yes, you're not doing it for accessibility. You're doing it to create more teams from the bigger conferences and make more money off of them. And again, I don't have an issue with that. I understand it's business. But stop with the accessibility talk. You're not doing this so that the group of 5 can get more teams in. You're not doing this so that the festering corpse of the ACC can get more teams in. You're doing this to open up 2 spots for the 2 big conferences so that you can make more money. That's it. That's all. And again, that's fine. No issue with that. But that's what this is. So we'll see how it plays out. The 12-team playoff format was alive for 36 hours before they started saying, but wait, what if bigger? What if bigger? What if more? 36 hours they waited before they started going, but what if more? Again, that's fine. Just acknowledge why we're doing it. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up hour number 1 on the radio show with some more college football talk. Nick Saban says he would like to be a voice of change in college football. What is that change that he's looking for? I'll tell you when we come back. Rob Lonzo, the Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate.
I wonder how many people get their internet through AT&T.
We do. I was about to send Courtney a DM and be like, hey, internet's down, but she's not going to get it because we have AT&T internet house. But I wonder if the internet is down. No, it wasn't, because I had YouTube running this morning on the air. So
I was going to say,
fine.
I mean, we would not be able to, and there are people watching.
Yep.
So. Diesel was right about that light that's suddenly coming on.
I wondered if, I was like, did he hit the button?
No, I didn't. It just. I mean, I know I'm not moving the thing or anything when I use it every day. I just push the button. So I'm not doing anything that would cause a short.
Spartanburg and 276 in Greenville. Overall, looking at about a 20-minute drive. Now, keep in mind, southbound 85 near Pelham. There's some ongoing road work there, but not causing any tie-ups. Highway 29 looking good. No reported issues between Greenville and Spartanburg. From the News Talk 98.9 WORD Traffic Center, I'm George Nilsson on the Fan Upstate.
Sick and tired of achy joints? Dread the idea of surgery? You need to call QC Kinetics today. Hey, it's Charlie James. The state of healthcare is always changing. The old ideas like steroids and surgery are no longer your only options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative, non-surgical, drug-free treatments that deliver lasting results. Knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain from arthritis or injury? Don't let this pain keep you from living your best life. QC Kinetics advanced state-of-the-art treatments harness and direct your body's natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. This is a revolutionary approach that can get you long-term relief with no downtime. Make 2024 the year you reclaim your mobility, reclaim your independence, walk and run, play, and live without the danger and trauma of surgery and without harmful drugs. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772.
And then it just went off.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Dead Island 2 is now on Game Pass. To try that. I like Dead Island 1.
What is?
Dead Island.
Uh-huh.
Dead Island 2 is now on. So I'd like to see how much they've upgraded stuff.
Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's B-A-B-B.
It's weird. It seemed like when the light went off, the air came on. I'm just saying it's might be coincidence. It may not be.
To apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. It's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi. I'm so glad I reached you at 2 a.m.
Oh, of course. Anyone with a Discover card can call and talk to a real person 24/7. Now, how can I help?
Now, I used my Discover card to buy these yellow pleather pajamas, and I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/credit card.
From the Ingalls Market Studio, the Fan.
Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville. 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
Early birds get the sports scoop.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. Let the unfounded speculation about America's cell phones being down begin. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying what's trending on Twitter. I'm just saying the conspiracy theorists are out in mass right now.
By the way, you're poo-pooing this, but it could definitely be
Sure,
what they're saying.
It could also be an army of undead leprechaun zombies that are attacking the networks. I mean, if we're just throwing out things, it could be.
You are such a naysayer when it comes to things. I mean,
like undead zombie leprechauns.
well, the devil could be standing right next to you, and you'd say you don't exist as he's getting ready to catch you on fire. I mean,
You know
that's
what I
just
would have in that case? Proof.
You
I would have
would-
proof of a thing.
you would also be
as opposed
dead.
to just making up a thing.
You'd also be dead, so I wouldn't have a chance to gloat over you going, see, I told you it was real.
Again, if that happened, I would have proof of the thing. But right now, it's just people on Twitter saying, I definitely know what is happening right now. This is definitely what's happening. Or it could be something real dumb. Remember,
Rob,
there were a bunch of experts who knew that Y2K was going to take us all down, and nothing happened.
I hope your sarcasm is warranted.
All right,
Because
fine.
because I hope it's not what people are saying it is, because if it is, it's a problem. And it's not like it's an impossibility. It's
And
definitely a
And
possibility.
if later today, it turns out it was something dumb, like Bob, the cell phone guy, spilled his coffee on a computer and caused all this, are you going to be willing to go? Rob, you were right. The internet jump into baseless speculations.
Not only will I say, Rob, you're right, I will say, thank God you were right. You know, because that means nothing nefarious is behind this thing. It was just Bob's a klutz. I don't have a problem with saying you were right. I want you to be right. But the fact that you act like there's the other is not a possibility, that's a problem, because that can get you into places that you may not be able to get out of.
Again, running to the worst case scenario
Is what you do in everything in life.
with zero evidence for it is not the wisest decision. That's all I'm going to say. All right.
I've decided that I'm just going to have to deal with the eye rolls when I interrupt you. I tried today without interrupting, and it was, not good. I'm just going to have to keep doing it.
I know.
It hurts me every time you do it, but I'm just going to do it anyway.
All I know is that if you jump on the internet, all the people are starting to show up by the car. If you jump on the internet today and you see people claiming they know,
If you can jump on the internet, because some people can't.
internet's fine.
Yeah,
Internet's fine. Twitter's up right now.
It's weird that internet is fine, but the phone system is down.
Correct. And if you wanted to take down America, the internet would be where you start, not the cell phones. So
That's not true. Because you're more likely to believe someone texting you saying something's on fire than you are seeing something on the internet saying it's on fire. Do you disagree with that? If someone texts you and says, "Hey man, I really just saw something explode," you're going to be, "Oh crap,
If
something
you
exploded."
wanted-
If you saw it on the internet, you're going to like check 5 different sites.
No, you're not, clearly, because people right now are going on and have cyber attack trending because somebody said it on the internet and everybody's like, oh God, we're under attack.
Wow.
They're coming. I don't know who they are. The dreaded they are back again.
I got you to say it. By the way, I can get to the internet on my phone. So
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. The internet's up. Everybody's fine on the internet.
I
It's
don't-
just cell phones.
still don't know that everyone's fine.
All right, so we'll see what happens. Apparently, America's cell phone service went down at about 4 a.m.
Why does this make you angry? Why does this make you mad that people are speculating that it could be a cyber attack? The first
Because
thing,
it's dangerous.
the first thing,
Because people start reacting to that. When
Well,
you
yeah.
tell people on the internet
yeah,
there is a cyber attack happening right now with no evidence of it,
All right.
people start doing crazy bleep.
yeah. Are you seeing reputable sources? Man, that's annoying. Are you seeing reputable sources saying that?
No,
Okay.
no,
So,
it's baseless Twitter speculation.
So why do you care? I mean, if CBS, NBC, MSNBC, Fox, all those different sites are saying it, then that's different. If you're seeing Johnny over in the hood saying, "Hey man, I saw him do that," then why does that make you angry?
I just told you. Because Johnny says it, and then Billy and Bobby and Susie and Annie all take it as gospel, and people start, look, our ring lights in the studio are flicking on and off. Obviously, we're under attack. Obviously, that's what the case is. And then people start reacting to that, and people start doing dumb things and causing chaos for no reason.
Okay, all right. I just hope it stays on long enough for me. Deontay, you're right. Johnny in the hood is crazy, but he's the first one that's going to do it. You know he is. That's a guy. He's always sitting on the corner with that 40 ounce telling you about the aliens. That's Johnny.
All right. Listen, just everybody relax. All right. Just take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath. All right. Let's just give it a minute.
Your anger is disturbing.
Yes, because nothing drives me crazier than when people assert truths without evidence. It drives me up a wall.
It's your logical mind just can't. You're a Vulcan. You can't handle it. There's some people who can't do that, by the way.
You got to do the.
Yeah, that's different. That's orc. That's nanu. That's this is live long and prosper.
Everybody just relax. All right. This is don't go out and cause a run on the bank and buy milk and bread and assume this is the end. I don't need anybody parading up and down the street causing traffic and sandwich boards that's saying the end is nigh today.
When's the last time you saw a sandwich board? I mean, I haven't been to downtown Greenville in a while. Are the sandwich board people down there?
Fiance just texted me or just Facebook messaged me because we can't text. Hashtag election year. Oh, man. All right. Well, you know what the good news is?
We have a weak president, and because of that,
that's it.
We've been attacked, electronically. Yeah, and so it's all because incompetence. Yeah.
Texas said my work phone is through AT&T. There's definitely something going on. It's stuck in SOS mode. Never happened before. Weird, bro. Yeah, no, so's mine. I'm on the same network. It's been down since as a matter of fact, since I woke up this morning. It's been down since I got here this morning. It is potentially going to screw up our R-Truth interview. Trust me, I'm as mad.
That's what he's really mad about.
As you are.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with having caution. I mean, and thinking that it's a possibility because of all the crazy people that Rob's talking about that are going to go out and cause problems. You should be cautious just in case.
The zombie leprechauns are coming.
Wow. Now why didn't you stay the bright light? Why did you got to?
Leprechauns are in the system. They're in the game. If you get to declare you know what it is, so do I. It's zombie leprechauns. They're after us. They started in Mobile and now they're on their way here.
That's
y'all seen the leprechauns say yeah.
What is there, a portal from Ireland to Mobile?
No, you don't know. You know about the Mobile leprechaun?
No, I don't.
Don't worry, I'll enlighten you during the break. It's going to change your life.
Oh, so now it goes off.
Because
I
talked about them.
Yeah,
I talked about the zombie leprechauns.
Yes,
and they heard it, and now they're like, "Oh, they're on to us. We got to." If everybody on Twitter gets to say they know what's happening, so do I.
Since
I declare it. Zombie leprechauns.
Since we're heading to the 1800s and we're not going to have electricity or anything, I'm going to have to read in the dark.
This guy just said ATL traffic about to be wild since these folks can't use GPS to get to the same place they go to every day.
Didn't even think about that. Oh, man, the grid is in trouble.
Jacob said they're just weeding out all the Android users, separating the sheep from the goats.
Weirdos.
Proud Androider, bro.
I thought that was a Google.
It is, but it runs on Android.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm an Androider. All right. All right. Listen, for
Can
those of you.
Can we go to break so I can
Yes.
struggle through this read?
For those of you that are going, Rob, hashtag stick to sports. The internet's breaking. All
Solution.
right. I got to talk about it.
I found a solution. I'm good.
Sport. Do the damn sports flash.
I'm using my modern day candle. The 12-team college football playoff model may just last 2 years. According to reports, CFP director Bill Hancock has already floated the idea of expanding the playoffs to 14 teams starting in 2026. Hancock acknowledged the idea was discussed, but said there's still work to be done before a move is made. Discussions about numbers of automatic qualifiers and finances were started, but are far from finalized. It took Toronto Maple Leafs Austin Matthews 54 games to reach 50 goals as he sank a power play goal at 5 minutes and 1 second into a game against Arizona last night. That goal also made history as Matthews becomes the fastest player to reach 50 goals in 28 years. Tune in Saturday at 1:30 as the Furman men's basketball team takes on Wofford right here on your home for Paladins football and basketball. The Fan, Upstate. I don't know about you guys. I don't automatically go, this can't be, this can't be, this can't be. I always got to believe that it's a possibility that this could be that. And nothing wrong with being cautious. And people in their basement with tinfoil hats on are right sometimes. Just saying. Because if the tinfoil didn't work, people wouldn't still be using it.
The world ends on St. Patrick's Day because of the zombie leprechauns.
How does that even work? How does zombieism affect the Fae? I don't know if that's a possibility. Can all living things become zombies?
I don't think we've got did you watch Last of Us or play Last of Us?
No.
All right.
Didn't interest me.
Last of Us is based on the cordyceps.
You told me about that, the plants.
Yeah,
basically.
which is a real thing in the animal kingdom.
I'm not really into survival horror like that. You know, the apocalypse where you come out and like Fallout, that's different. But nuclear war happening and there being an aftermath, I think is more of a possibility than the plants taking over. Not that I have to have realism in games, but it just.
Jacob said, what is actually going on? I actually don't know. Nobody does. That's the thing. Nobody knows what's going on right now, but people on Twitter love some engagement. So we're going to spread that we're under a cyber attack to freak people out for no reason.
Should have got like NordVPN or whatever that is. If AT&T would have did that, they never would have got. Yeah.
If you would have just listened to the YouTubers.
Yeah. From what I can tell, you can still, if you have an emergency, use your phone for the emergency. So that's still a good thing.
Just said, if I lose my Fortnite V-Bucks, I'm enlisting.
Hey, you got to fight for something, man. Whatever gets you out there.
Oh, man.
QC in the next break. I would play It's the End of the World as We Know It, but it might trigger Rob further, and I don't want to do that. He's already angry.
I know what happened, Lonzo. It's my fault. I broke it. When I woke up this morning, I tried to both watch TV and send an email at the same time. And I just overloaded.
You didn't have something in the
system.
microwave too, did you?
No, I did not.
Okay, all right.
I think I just overloaded the system. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hour numero dos of the Rob Brown Show is underway. Oh, see, now they're attacking my allergies too. Hashtag cyber attacking my allergies.
The smell of ozone is in the air.
Telling you, man.
As if all things are about to be no more.
Dude just said on Twitter, if I lose my Fortnite V-Bucks, I'm enlisting. I got to tell you, if this is the apocalypse, at least we're going to laugh through it. All right. We have got a lot we need to
It
get
would
into.
almost be worth it just to see that realization on your face going, oh, I made fun of that. This is real. I mean, I know we would all die, but at least for a moment, I get to see that look on your face.
I told you so. All right. What? I'll tell you what
I'm hanging on till I see the look on your face, no matter what it is. If I'm being blipped or whatever, I'm hanging on just long enough to see that.
I'll tell you what. We are going to ignore what Lonzo believes to be the impending apocalypse because our cell phones don't work for a couple of hours. And talk sports here on the show because
I just said it was a possibility. I don't deny possibilities, even if it's infinitesimal. The possibility is still there. I think science, being a science guy, you would have to factor in that there is the slightest possibility that it could be real. We're not talking about Bigfoot. We're not talking about aliens here. We're talking about a possibility of a cyber attack.
Sure, it's a cyber attack. Somebody just stepped on a wire and unplugged the whole system.
Or, all right.
That's what you get.
Yeah, that counts.
That's what you get.
Or Rob's actually a part of the system that's trying to take the system down because
you got me.
Anarchy.
You got me. I'm here for the chaos. I'm always team chaos. That's not a secret. We have to talk about sports on the Sports Talk Radio Show. Even in the face of the apocalypse, we care about our football. So, as it is 7:04, and some of you will be able to find your way to work despite not having GPS available to you. You still have to go to, because let's be honest, in America, even if it's the apocalypse, you're still expected to be to work on time.
Hey, does MapQuest still work? Maybe you could print something out before you leave.
My Waze worked just fine this morning. All right. Waze is still up.
Do you actually use that?
I love Waze.
Yeah.
I Waze everywhere.
No, I mean to come to work.
I put it on just for A, to see if there's any traffic impediments on the way, and B, to find out respectfully to y'all if any of the upstate's finest happen to be out there popping radar on the top of a hill.
Wow, look at you. I mean, my Apple CarPlay comes on automatically when I plug my phone into my car. And so it tells me I'm going to work and it tells me I'm going home. I never told it what was work and what was home, but it knows. It's weird.
You're on the grid, bud.
Yeah, you know where my other job is? I've been on that grid for a while.
You are inside of an hour from having to show up to work, apocalypse or not, America. And if you're going to go to work at some point, you're going to take a break. At some point, you're going to talk sports. And when you do, even if the world's going to hell, you're going to need this.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying,
"You hear that?"
Game over.
Before they take their first.
No.
Here we go. Welcome to the Water Cooler Cheat Sheet on the Fan Upstate.
It is the Water Cooler Cheat Sheet, the top 3 sports stories that you need to know before you get to the office and you work through the zombie outbreak or nuclear winter or what other reason?
Red Dawn.
Apocalypses?
Red Dawn.
Yeah, the Russian invasion.
Well, no, it would be, anyway, the most realistic. It would be Chinese. It would not be Russian because,
You don't know. You don't know. Anything's possible. Lonzo, you told me that.
Well, you
told me
they've
that.
already been infiltrating from the border, and it's time. Maybe today is that day.
Anything's possible.
What date is it?
It's February 22nd.
2/22. Yeah,
those are numbers, and numbers mean things. So,
the only time saying Wolverines is all right, Scott.
Wolverines!
It keeps me warm, sir.
Let's get to it. Your top 3 sports stories that you need to know. Let us begin with item number 1. Talked about it a little bit in the last hour, but it is one of the bigger 3 stories, so we will bring it up here again. The college football playoff is officially expanding to 12 teams starting this year. You will have the 5 highest conference champions, followed by the next 7 highest ranked teams as your 12-team playoff format. The top 4 teams will receive a first round bye. The next 4 teams will then host the bottom 4 teams on campus in round number 1. The winners will then advance to take on the top 4 teams in a series of bowl games. We'll then move down to the semifinals. And then, of course, your national championship game. And also 36 hours, RIP, RIP, press F to pay respects to the 12-team playoff model, because less than a day after approving the 12-team model, the exact same college football playoff board of managers then began discussing expanding the playoff field. Now, it's not going to be huge. It's just going to be by 2 teams up to 14. And the earliest that switch would take place is 2026, meaning we will definitively have 2 years of a 12-team playoff model. Now, here's what I said in the last hour. I'll say it again here. This is not going to impact you unless your team is in the Big Ten or the SEC. Because while they are going to tell you this is about accessibility, while they are going to tell you that this is about making sure there are more opportunities for more teams, I am here to tell you that they are not doing that. What they are doing is adding 2 more slots so that they can give 2 more automatic qualifier positions to the Big Ten and the Southeastern Conference. That, to me, feels like an inevitability. You are going to end up seeing the Big Ten and the SEC, who are already lobbying for more AQ positions to be awarded to them, get their wish. They want a minimum of 1 more team guaranteed per conference. Why? Because they're enormous. The Big Ten, by the time that this rolls around, will be at the minimum an 18-team conference. The Southeastern Conference is currently sitting on 16 teams, and you can rest assured that they, along with the Big Ten, will grow once again, either in the next year or 2, depending on how FSU v. the ACC plays out in court, or if the ACC grant of rights expires all the way up in 2036. Whenever that happens, whichever one of those 2 becomes an accurate reality, the SEC and the Big Ten will grow again. They want more teams. This is how you get them that. And you do it under the guise of accessibility, knowing full well, as I have told you, my dudes, my dudettes, follow the money. This is about more teams, more games, higher ranked teams, teams with bigger brands, more notoriety, more recognizability. and putting them on television because it sells more advertising. We will follow this story as it continues to develop. Let's go to item numero dos. I blame the leprechauns. Item numero dos. Major League Baseball expansion is on its way. We talked about earlier this week the decision of one Rob Manfred to call it a career. Rob Manfred will step away at the end of his 5-year contract. That will be in 2029. He says he will not run it back for a 16th year after the conclusion of his 15th. And in that press conference, he said that one of the things he hopes to accomplish in his final 4.5 years of service is to have a plan in place for expansion. Major League Baseball wants to go to 32 teams. And while the timeline on the expansion to Major League Baseball getting to 32 teams is right now a question mark, what's not a question mark are the list of cities that are being included as possibilities. Those cities include, as of right now, Austin, San Antonio. There are just under 1 million people living in Austin, just under 1.5 living in San Antonio. The metro area as a whole boasts 2.6 million people combined. They are TV market rank number 35. Austin is looking into being an expansion team. Charlotte, North Carolina is being considered as a destination. They consider their metro area over 2.7 million with a TV market rank at number 21. And just in case you're curious, Jeff Passan of ESPN says that there's already a group called the Charlotte MLB Project that is working towards bringing Major League Baseball to the Carolinas, and they have already zeroed in on the Charlotte Aviators as the name of that team if it was to land there.
Oh, come on.
I don't hate it. I mean, North Carolina's the birth state of flight. It makes sense.
It's very nerdy sounding, isn't it?
And I don't hate it. I don't love it, just so we're clear.
Come on out, see your Aviators take flight.
This Saturday, the Atlanta Braves travel to take on the Charlotte Aviators. It's not like an aggressive name.
It's not like it's a pelican or something. I mean, it's still a bad name. I know they're your team. It's still a bad name.
Much like the Aviators, we don't care if you like it. Okay?
I hope they don't go with that. That's a bad move.
Nashville, Tennessee is being listed as a potential expansion city. It boasts a metro population of just over 2 million people and TV market rank number 27. Orlando, Florida hosts a metro population of over 2.7 million. It is being considered a expansion team destination. They have a potential name on the group as well, the Dreamers. Aviators or Dreamers? Which one do you prefer?
You can say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Dreamer works better, but I mean, I don't know. It also has some negative connotations with it politically. So I don't know if
Dreamer.
Yeah, look it up. The fact
I know what it is.
The fact that you don't know.
No, I'm just saying, if you hear the word dreamer and that's where your head goes, you're in a little.
You said dreamers. There's a difference when you put the S on the end. It just. No, I'm just saying, some people would think that, and yes, it popped into my head. And I don't even remember what it is. I just know that it.
I just know I'm mad about it.
Do I look mad?
I'm not saying you. I'm saying if that's the majority of people who have an issue with that. That's
right. What's a Dreamers mascot look like?
I'm leaving this where it is. Portland, Oregon is another potential destination. TV market rank number 22 with a population just over 2.5 million. Raleigh, North Carolina being mentioned, a population just under 1.5 mil, but TV market number 23 when it's all said and done. San Jose, California is being listed. Yes, that's what we need. Another California-based team. Salt Lake City Home of, I'm assuming Lonzo said it correctly in the Sports Flash, Real Salt Lake City, with a population over 1.2 million and TV market rank number 29 is being considered.
I didn't read it, but if I would have, I was going to go with Real because
Nice.
it's one of them their soccer names.
Sure is. One of them their soccer names. And the final city on the list of potential expansion cities, and this one is the one I think is going to be awarded, if I had to bet, one of the two that will get a team. I don't know what team number 2 is. My lean is Nashville. I think Nashville's the team they go with. Nashville's a fantastic city. They are starting to, as the rest of the leagues are, they are looking towards what? Vacation cities, tourist cities. That's why Vegas has gotten a baseball team. It will be getting an NBA team. Mexico City. I think Mexico City ends up with a team. I think they are the only one that is a guarantee. Why? The metro population of Mexico City is, Lonzo, 21.8 million people. They have a team there in the Mexican League called the Red Devils that are wildly successful. They have a stadium already in place in Alfredo Harpelu Stadium that could be upgraded to MLB standards.
What stadium was that?
Alfredo Harpelu Stadium.
Okay, because you went a little southern the first time you read it in the Haley.
Got Alfredo Stadium down there in Mexico City.
It's a weird combination of Spanish and southern, and it was amazing.
We'll see where it plays out. Alfredo Harpelu Stadium is the stadium that hosted the first regular season MLB series in Mexico City last year. The Rockies and the Astros will play 2 games there this year. The ballpark is just 5 years old, does have a seating capacity of only about 20K. They would have to expand that in order to host regular season games. We will find out. I think Mexico City is likely the team that gets in. As one of them, I think Nashville, Tennessee will be the other one, but we are starting to see the list of cities MLB is considering. Charlotte is on that list, as is Raleigh, North Carolina, Nashville, Tennessee, the 3 closest cities to us that might get an MLB expansion team. Let's go to item number 3. Yesterday, we told you about the drama taking place around Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. There were people that were very curious as to what direction the Bears might be going. Fields might be going, predominantly because he is, as of right now, the largest domino to fall. The Chicago Bears have the number 1 overall seed in the NFL draft. Will they draft a quarterback? Will they draft a non-quarterback? Would they trade back and allow somebody else pick of the litter when it comes to the big 3 of Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Jaden Daniels? Michael Penix Jr. also in that group. And of course, some intrepid young journalists discovered that Justin Fields had unfollowed the Bears on Instagram. My goodness. It's like they broke up before the prom. She unfollowed me on Instagram, dude. Our lives are... Anyway, Justin Fields yesterday went on the St. Brown Brothers podcast. I am not one of the St. Brown Brothers. I'm just a regular Brown brother.
Yeah, because Saint, you haven't been. Yeah, okay.
I mean, technically, if I did that podcast in New Orleans, I could call it the St. Brown Brothers,
You
and
have
my
to
brother and I
be
would work out there, you know?
Deified in order for that, right? Am I
No,
using the
man.
proper word
I just got to be
for
a
that?
fan of the New Orleans Saints.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right. Okay.
see?
All right. That makes
See?
sense. Okay.
Hashtag branding. I got this. The St. Brown Brothers podcast hosted Justin Fields yesterday, and he said, when asked about the social media unfollowing, and I quote, "Why do people take social media so serious? I still mess with the Bears, this and that. I'm just trying to take a little break. I unfollowed the Bears and the NFL. I'm not trying to have football on my timeline. It's not something I want to see on my timeline. I'm about to go on vacation. I don't want to see no football." And guess what? The social media discourse to either keep Fields, we want Fields, it's either draft Caleb. I'm tired of hearing the talk. I just want it to be over. End quote.
See, I know the answer to this. I know you take your work home. I try not to. I try, especially when I'm on vacation, I don't even turn the radio on. I mean, because that's, to me, taking your work home. So I watched that it showed up on my YouTube feed yesterday, and I watched that, and I thought it was hilarious.
For the record, it is hysterical. Primarily and mainly because I don't have a dog or a bear in that particular fight.
Well done.
I do find it hilarious because, yes, people base their entire lives around social media. It's so important that I'm required to be on it for work. Now, that, I'd be lying to tell you I don't enjoy being on it.
We're all required. Even us lowly people are required.
Even Lonzo.
Withs and ands have to be on there.
Withs and the king of the withs and ands even has to be on it. Doesn't bother me that much because, listen, as I mentioned, we are currently going through, according to half the people on Twitter, the actual literal apocalypse right now. And there's some great jokes going on Twitter right now that I'm a big fan of.
By the way, if you're wondering, skies are clear right now, so we're good. I will keep you posted.
That's chemtrail right over there. See it? That's the start.
All right, I stand corrected. My screens were in the way. That is a chemtrail.
Chemtrail right over there. It's over.
Not a parachute trail, just a chemtrail.
Zombie leprechauns in the skies now. It's unbelievable. Justin Fields said that he unfollowed the Bears because he's going on vacation and he doesn't. Why? I swear to you, lady.
Look at that. Perfect. Yes. Way to go, lady. Look at that.
She did it. She's in the lines. No hands shall be caught today. I'm proud of her.
I think equal on all sides, at least from my angle.
It looks good.
Yeah.
I'm proud of her. Maybe that's what she needed. She just needed a little inspiration from me. And you're welcome. I'm just here to make everybody's life better. And I feel like I'm doing that one terrible Parker at a time.
I'm disappointed because I wanted to be able to do play-by-play when you went down there and threw hands.
Justin Fields said, quote, "Of course I want to stay in Chicago. I can't see myself playing in any other place. But if it was up to me, I would want to stay in Chicago. I love the city. The city's lit. The fans are great. And the people, it's a business. I ain't got no control over it. Whatever happens, happens. I think the biggest thing with all this going on right now, I just want it to be over. Like, just let me know if I'm getting traded. Let me know if I'm staying, this and that," end quote. He was asked about the possibility of ending up in the ATL. He said he is from Georgia, by the way. He said Atlanta would be tough. The only cons of going back home is just people hitting my phone up like crazy, wanting tickets to the game. But I think they've got a lot of playmakers on the team. Of course, Bijan Robinson. They've got my boy Kyle Pitts. And then, of course, Drake London, too. They probably need one more wide receiver, but they've definitely got some guys over there, and their defense was good this year, too. Justin Fields is going to be a Falcon.
He appears to know a lot about that team.
That team's got offense. If you're a quarterback, you could be in way worse spots. Like
for someone who just
Chicago.
unfollowed the NFL, that means he doesn't want to talk anything NFL, and he knows a lot about the team. I bet he doesn't know those things about Indianapolis or Pittsburgh. Well, maybe Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh's a possibility too. Pittsburgh's absolutely a possibility for Justin Fields. Anyway, point of all this is because I know that all of you, since the announcement yesterday, that Justin Fields had taken the very drastic measure of unfollowing the Chicago Bears Instagram account. I know all of you have been waiting patiently, treading, wearing a path up and down your hallway as you walked back and forth, wondering to yourself, why, Justin? Why? And now I have your answer. It's the best answer. It's because he's going on vacation and doesn't want to talk about work, which, by the way, I get it. Yes! I understand. I get it. I'm on vacation. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't email me. If I was going to go on vacation, today's the day. You can't call me anyway. It's great because of the apocalypse and all that,
Stop it. You're going to will this thing to be real.
Tiger Pal Rachel tweeted the show. She said, "Rob, I'd love to see an MLB team in Charlotte, but looking at the success of Charlotte's pro teams, why would MLB give them a team?" Rachel, because it would make money. That's the only reason they will give any team to any city.
Would it though? Because I mean, are people showing up to Panther games right now? The away team is.
Hey, Lonzo, did they show up to Panthers games?
A long time ago.
Was Bank of America, not for a hot minute, a pretty damn good home field advantage?
It was rocking for a while.
There you go. There you go.
But I think that was like a decade ago.
I think what they would do, Tiger Pal Rachel, is be very cautious about who's in charge of that franchise. I don't think Dave Tepper is going to get the call asking if he's interested in adding another team to the portfolio.
By the way, I think the soccer team has done fairly well.
Soccer team's done really well.
Yeah, so I think that's one team that's done pretty good.
Soccer fans are going to show up and show out. Baseball fans, football fans, a little more fickle. That's just what it is. Let us, ladies and gentlemen, take a break. When we come back here in just a minute, all those stories we just talked about in the water cooler cheat sheet, the top 3 stories you need to know, we're going to break them all down at length, and we will continue when we come back on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
QC.
All right, guys, quick live reading. We're coming right back. Don't go nowhere. miss out on our St. Patty's Day celebration. Actually, St. Patrick's Day on a weekend this year?
It's on Sunday, I believe. That's also the first week of the tournament. I am Another reason why I'm taking it off.
So you can stay home and watch college basketball?
So I can not be negative on the air. No, I always take vacation around that time to do yard work. Yeah, so take vacation to do yard work. Commune with nature. Ward off the snakes and stuff like that.
Let me be the bad guy for just 1 second, if I might. Wait, where's Razor Ramon? Hang on. Where's Razor
Maybe you should hold off on certain sound bites, which is what I've been doing. I'm just saying because of monitoring.
Where's?
So you're just not listening to me.
No, I am. I'm just ignoring it because I'm 100% going to play it. I just lost. Where's my? Well, say hello to the bad guy, Razor Ramon.
So much better than the real thing.
What the hell's my clip, man? I got to reorganize my whole board again. Anyway, let me be the bad guy for just a minute. Let me be Razor Ramon. Let me have some machismo for just a second. We talked about Major League Baseball expansion just minutes ago. I gave you the list of the cities that are being considered possible expansion spots. The MLB is going to 32 teams. It is going to 32 teams within probably definitively the next 5 years. It is going to be a slow process, but it is going to happen. And I know, I know that there is going to be discussion about how can we get this area into that mix. You can't. Okay? You can't. I'm sorry. Do we have a market size? Sure. There are cities that are being considered on this list that are around the same size as the greater metropolitan Greenville-Spartanburg area. But the reality is you don't have the infrastructure here. You certainly don't have a stadium here. You would be on the hook for $1 billion stadium. And here's your reality. There's a local team that is asking for a new stadium right now. A team that is right here already in Greenville. A team that has had success on a national level that is asking for a stadium here. And they are not asking for a $1 billion Major League Baseball caliber stadium. They're asking for like a 6,000 seat stadium that would be surrounded by local businesses that they would pay for a chunk, if not the majority of, and then give ownership over to the city where it ends up being so that it could be a multifunction scenario. And they are being told no. Or at least so far have been told no. Or at least so far have been told, well, we need a lot more conversation about it. Now, regardless of where you fall in that discussion, obviously I am very pro the Greenville Triumph getting themselves a new stadium. That is a multi-use stadium that could be used for all sorts of function around the season, around the year. The fact is, you don't want to come up with enough money to build a 6,000 seat stadium, yet you're going to hear the conversation about we should be in the mix for the MLB to come here. Would I love a Major League Baseball team in this area? You're damn right I would. I would fall over backwards. I would be, I promise you now, the loudest voice in the area.
Well, you already are the loudest voice.
Okay. Metaphorically speaking, the loudest voice in the area to get a team here, to get a professional team. And to be honest, I don't care what sport it is. I would love to have an NBA team here. I'd love to have an MLB team here. I'd love to have an MLS team here. I'd love to have any of it here. But you don't have the infrastructure. You don't want to build the infrastructure. Hell, you don't want to build a stadium that is not even a tenth of what you would need to spend to get an MLB stadium in this market, whether it's in Greenville or in a surrounding area outside, a suburb outside. You're not coming up with a 6K stadium with some businesses attached But those same people are going to try to say, we can get an MLB team here. No, we can't. Would I love it? You're damn right. Absolutely. More sports is better. I have told you guys for years. I think that there are a number of elements that add to the culture of whatever city you're talking about. Music is one of them. I love that the music industry, the music scene in the GVL and in the upstate is rapidly growing. I love that any given weekend, there's a punk rock show over here and a hip hop exhibition here. And there's great shows coming through the Bon Secours Wellness Arena every week. I love that. Music, a great music scene is the scene of a great thriving community. Sports are the same way. Sports are the same way. If you have a great sports community, you have a great community. I would love to have a professional sports team in the hood. But the reality is this area does not have the infrastructure to support it, especially not an MLB team where 80 plus days a year, you've got to be able to host in one place 20, 25, 30, 35, 40,000 people, half of which are coming in from out of town. When you don't want to hook up the Triumph with a stadium that, by the way, would be like 15% of the time used for soccer and 85% of the time used for other events that would, to me, enhance the culture of the upstate. So, again, you're going to hear it. And you're going to hear people bang the drum today about finding a way to get us into the mix for this expansion talk. Again, I'm very pro that. I would love that. But we're not there. We're not there. Despite being one of the most rapidly growing areas in the nation, the decisions that have to get made in order to make this happen, we're not even making those on a local level. It's certainly not happening on a national level. The two teams are going to Mexico City and they're going to Nashville. Book it right now. Let me get Bond on the air. He's been hanging on the chat. Wants to talk a little baseball. Bond, welcome to the show. Good to have you.
Hey, thank you. Sorry, I'm not like Chamber of Commerce, but my only if I were like MLB, y'all have also teased about this. And I'm a very big fan. The college baseball is absolutely blowing up, right? You're kind of skipping things here. If you say, if I'm going to locate teams, then we might want to double up there.
Yeah, no, listen, and Bond, I appreciate it, dude. We're up against the bump. I gotta get to the break here in just a minute. I think when it comes to the growth of local sports, you are right. Baseball, college baseball, just so we're all clear, Rob Brown has been pushing college baseball as a great sport for a decade and a half now. I have said on this show, I said it on BetMGM tonight on Thursday, nationally syndicated show. The best postseason in sports is college baseball's. College baseball's postseason is better than the NFL playoffs. It's better than March Madness. It is the best postseason in sports. And it is a rapidly growing. Look around the Southeastern Conference right now. Look around look at the growth in SEC baseball, Big Ten baseball. It is a rapidly growing sport, and people love baseball. People love baseball. That is why the Drive are the most successful local franchise. And that is why, while the Drive are the most successful local franchise, you are also looking at Spartanburg. Spartanburg's getting a new team. Spartanburg's got a stadium going up. Spartanburg's putting in the work to make this happen. Texter just said, Rob, I just saw the process of the Spartanburg Wood Duck Stadium. It is going to be awesome and very good for Spartanburg businesses. Go Woodies. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, while the Wood Ducks is the name of the team that is moving down, 99% sure they're not going to be the Wood Ducks. I am all on board for them being the 100%. Absolutely.
I never would have
8-year-old
been.
Rob totally buys in on a jersey that says Woody's across the front.
Yeah, you're talking about the cars, right?
Yeah, for sure. Station wagons. Yes,
Yeah,
we're going to name
back
them the
in the day.
Spartanburg station wagons and call them the Woodies.
Beach Boys sang about that. Yeah, when they announce the name completely, I think we'll know. Yeah, you got to put something on there.
Go Woodies. So
why would Wood Ducks be the way to go here?
It wouldn't be, and that's why they're not going to. I might still call them the Woodies anyway, because it's hysterical, objectively funny. Lower level baseball succeeds in communities that care about it. I'm from Pensacola, Florida. We have the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. They are now an affiliate of, I believe, the Miami Marlins. They've switched a couple of times. Guy by the name of Quint Studer put in a team down there. And do you know what Quint Studer did once he got Bayfront Stadium and the Pensacola Blue Wahoos? Fully invested in downtown Pensacola. Fully invested. He said, all right, I got my stadium. I got my team. And this is part of the other thing is you've got to have good ownership built in. He said, I got my stadium. I got my team. Now I need the area to grow to support this. And he has gone all in on investing in downtown Pensacola. And over the past couple of years, Pensacola has skyrocketed up the list of places to live in the United States. Pensacola used to have a real bad rap. Now, Pensacola is mentioned alongside Greenville as one of the greatest places to move that you can move to in America. A good, thriving sports scene, good, thriving sports community will help with that. Now, I know there's a lot of you guys that don't want more people moving here. That wish it would stop. I got bad news for you. It's not going to. Stevie Nicks was on stage last night, and she said she's been in town 4 days. And I've seen her popping up in different places on my social media. She said, I'm going to be straight up with you right now. I could live here. I love this city. I love the vibe. I love the music. I love the scene. I love the culture. I could straight up live here. And that's
Stevie, if you're still here, I mean, we have
She
an
is.
open mic. You can come and just sit over there.
I tried.
you know?
I tried to get Stevie Nicks on the show. She was busy. Point here is you're not going anywhere. That's not changing. The best thing you can do is roll with that punch and grow with it. This is a place that I firmly believe in 10 years from now would absolutely be on the list of potential expansion destinations for Major League Baseball. I don't think the NFL is going to put a team here too close to Charlotte. NBA not going to put a team here. You're already halfway, less than 2 hours away from two different NBA teams. But Major League Baseball, even though you're only a couple hours from Atlanta, the Southeast is baseball country. Has been for a long time. Could be on the list. But if I can't even talk you guys into building a multi-use stadium for a local team that has brought you a couple of trophies, I don't know how in the world you think you're going to be an MLB target. Let's take a break. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 2. My name is Rob Brown, the great Malonzo on the ones and twos. The Rob Brown Show rolls on.
Phone's still not working?
But I reached out to our go-between at the Rabbits, who is, and he said he passed on the link. So
cool.
We should be good.
Bulldogs get the game-winning layup with 2 seconds remaining. That loss snapped Furman's 3-game win streak. They're now 15-13 and 9-6 in the SoCon. Also wins tonight. Clemson defeated Georgia Tech in Atlanta 81-57. Tigers have won 4 of 5. They're now 18-8, 8-7 in the ACC. Back at Little John Coliseum Saturday to take on Florida State. Wofford, they lose to Chattanooga Wednesday night 81-65. They've lost back.
Steven, what's up? Shane? Shane says Birmingham and Greenville are two of the best minor league ballparks in the nation. I agree entirely. There are great major league or minor league ballparks. Again, I'm a biased guy, but I put Pensacola in that group as well. Floor Field is spectacular in terms of minor league baseball. It ain't a major league park, man. Zach, that's my pick. I think the two are going to Mexico City and Nashville. I think that's where you're going to see the league expand to. I could see Vancouver getting a team as well. Le Puck. I could see Vancouver getting a team. Montreal as well. I could see a couple of Canadian teams. Montreal brings back the Expos. That's something they've wanted for a very long time. Toronto's done very well the last few years.
By the way, I believe that's la, not lay.
Le puck. Le puck. I don't know how bad my French accent is. Jacob says, I would love an MLB team in Charlotte. I've been a Red Sox fan because of their extension in Greenville, but I would love to have something closer to home. But if they have a lame mascot like the Sharks, Dragons, or Bulldogs, I can't get behind it. Jacob, how do you feel about the Aviators? The Dreamers should be black with yellow polka dots. I shouldn't do that.
You really did. You just elbowed the mic.
I bionic elbowed the mic. That's on me. Sorry if I blew out anybody's speakers.
I'm more worried about the microphone. I was hoping the apocalypse would happen so I wouldn't have to be nervous during the interview, but now it looks like it may still happen. Oh, that's good. The aviation station. That's Aviators is still kind of lame though. But I don't know what that says. I probably shouldn't say that.
Pretty sure they wouldn't be singing it on the radio if it was that bad.
That's we're gonna go with that. If you sue for damages, you need to make sure you do the individual because I had nothing to do with it.
Oh, you're the producer. You're in charge of everything that goes on the air.
Yeah, okay. All right. Let's cut off your elbow.
Say hello to the back.
Found it. There it was. Found it. I didn't put Razor's name across the top. That's what I did wrong.
I think you're screwing up, but anyway.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. I am Rob Brown, the Great Milonzo on the ones and twos this AM as we round out hour number one coming up in the next hour of the show. We will start off talking about the sit-down interview that one Nick Saban did yesterday and his views on changes required within college football. We'll talk about that. Then we'll talk with Rashad Beard, the host of the Panther Nation podcast, comes by at about 20 past the top of the hour to talk Carolina Panther football with us as we are setting up and getting ready for the NFL draft, just a touch over a month. 2 months away, end of April. Looking forward to that. Then coming up at 9:20 today, Fight Club with the Great one, Lonzo. We will break down all of the professional wrestling, MMA, and boxing taking place around the world. And we'll let you all know that coming up on tomorrow's show, because joining us at 10:30 to record an interview today that we will run back at you guys tomorrow is one of the GOATs. Maybe the funniest guy that's ever wrestled, also a hell of a wrestler. The leader of the Judgment Day, R-Truth, will join us at 10:30. Now, we're going to record that interview after we're off of the air, but we will run it back for you tomorrow as R-Truth will be down to hang out with the Greenville Swamp Rabbits on Sunday for Wrestling Day with the Bits. Looking forward to that. Text said, Rob, Pensacola Wahoo Stadium was sick. $2 parking and gave me a veteran's discount for my ticket. Also bought a large drink, nachos, and a hot dog. And now I got to go find the rest of this text because I'm just going to read good things about my old team since that's where I used to work as well. And it was like $12. Would love to see Spartanburg do the same. Yeah, and that's kind of the tough spot for a lot of these teams is price pointing stuff, right? And I know it's not easy, especially for teams that don't outright own their own stadium. That is something that I will just say one of our local teams has a struggle with. They don't own a building that they play in. And so therefore they're not in control of a lot of, if not any, of the prices that are set around their team. And because of that, a lot of people feel priced out of that as like a routine entertainment experience. But that's about facilities. That's about infrastructure. That kind of folds into that discussion. As I mentioned, I'd love to see a team here. Love to see a team here. Unfortunately, you don't have the infrastructure. There's room. There's plenty of room. Most of, not all, but most of the professional teams that are named after cities, they don't actually play in those cities. I got shocking news for you. The Atlanta Braves don't play in Atlanta. They're about 25 minutes outside of Atlanta. The Dallas Cowboys, I affectionately refer to them as the Arlington Cowboys because they don't play in Dallas. They play in Arlington. The Fighting Hank Hills. So you got space, you got room. You don't have the infrastructure. And respectfully, I don't mean to butt heads with anybody here. The people in control are incentivized by voters not to buy into that infrastructure. They don't want that infrastructure. And because of that, no, you're not going to be listed amongst the potential expansion teams. You're just not. Not now. Again, maybe years down the road, if the growth of the city continues at the exponential rate, if the growth of the area continues at the exponential rate. Watch people get mad at me now. If the demographic shift amongst voters continues in the area, then yeah, down the line, you may, years from now, find yourself in that situation. But it ain't now. Nashville's getting a team because Nashville is in for these things. Vegas is getting the A's. Mexico City, I will caveat that. Whether it is Mexico City, Montreal, or Quebec, one of those two MLB expansion teams will be international. One of those two teams is going across a border. My suspicion has been Mexico City, but the more I think about it, Montreal might be it. You get the Expos back. When the Expos left and moved to D.C., Montreal cried. Montreal wants their team back. And Montreal has the infrastructure. They've got the capacity. They've got the money. And they've got enough folks in power that want it to happen. So I'm going to go Nashville and then Mexico City / Montreal. One of those two cities will get a team when MLB goes to 32. So there you go. Texas said, what about the Green Jacket Stadium in Augusta? It's freaking awesome. Has a Sweetwater bar, I think. I actually have not made it to Augusta for a game, but I'd really like to.
What is a Sweetwater bar?
Sweetwater is a brewery. And a lot of the teams now will have a local brewery or distillery that will set up a specialized bar in the stadium. So you can go and hang out at this bar, and they are like, that brewery brings their special craft beer, so you can drink some real good beer while you watch baseball. Also, naming the team in Augusta, the Green Jackets, phenomenal branding. Phenomenal branding. All right. I did not expect to spend that much time on this discussion, but I think it's a good one. I think it's an interesting one. What I also expect to be interesting, nay, compelling, is this Sports Flash.
Rob said Canadians crying, and for some reason that made me happy. I don't know why. Nick Saban decided to step away from coaching, but will not step away from being active in college football. Yesterday, Saban said he has a new mission to bring reform and, in his own words, common sense to college football. And he probably will do it because he's Nick Saban. Saban said what we have now is not college football, not college football as we know it. Saban said he would like to see NIL deals handled in-house. Bears quarterbacks Justin Fields, or a quarterback, one of them, Justin Fields may or may not be traded, but Chicago's decision is the largest domino to fall moving forward towards the draft. Fields was asked about unfollowing the team on social media, and he said he was going on vacation. Tune in Saturday at 1:30 as the Furman men's basketball team takes on Wofford right here on your home for Paladins football and basketball. The Fan, Upstate.
Attention business owners, are you tired of those hefty credit card fees cutting into your profits? Well, we've got some exciting news for you. Thanks to the Dodd-Frank Act, there's now a game-changing solution to save you at least 95% of your processing expenses, guaranteed. Imagine processing unlimited transactions for as low as $49 a month. Our patented software gives your customers 2 price points based on how they pay, full or credit card price. It's that simple. And here's the best part. You can enjoy 24/7 support, next-day funding, a virtual terminal, online gateway, and ACH processing. Our patented solution is available in all 50 states, making it the go-to choice for thousands of businesses looking to eliminate processing fees for good. If you're ready to take your business to the next level, call 800-249-3171 now. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to save 95% on processing fees guaranteed. Call 800-249-3171 and make the change today. That's 800-249-3171. Again, 800-249-3171.
Now, CBS Sports Radio.
Upstate. Here's how to get in the game. On your radio at 97.7 FM in Greenville, 97.1 FM in Spartanburg.
You need more? Listen on your phone. Download the Odyssey app and search The Fan Upstate.
There's a whole lot more to know about sound if you really want to go into the subject.
Your smart speaker. Just say, play The Fan Upstate on your HD radio and WFBC HD3. Oh, there's just one more thing.
I did not, Zach, but we're actually going to talk about UFC and what they can do to win me back, because right now I need something. Oh man, we're a minute early. My bad.
It's all good. Dude. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It is The Fan Upstate. Happy, maybe, Thursday morning to you.
I was going to say, we don't know yet. Is your phone working yet?
Nope. Still got the dreaded exclamation point of doom on my phone.
Skies are clear where you are. If you see parachutes, please let us know, and we'll report it.
We, ladies and gentlemen, have a lot of things that we are talking about today on the show. We've talked about the college football playoffs. We got the 12 team voted on and approved earlier this week. And within hours of that approval, the same board of managers was already discussing further expansion to 14 teams making it to the college football playoffs starting in 2026. We'll get back into that later on in the show. We have briefly mentioned Justin Fields and his unfollowing of the Bears on Instagram. He gave an explanation of that. If you missed it, you can hear all about it in the Water Cooler Cheat Sheet, the beginning of the last hour, which if it's not already posted to the internet still works. America, all right? Tens of thousands of people without cell phone service today, but Twitter's up. If you go to thefanupstate.com, drop down the podcast menu, click on the Rob Brown Show, and listen to the last hour of the show, the water cooler cheat sheet, the top 3 stories you need to know. One of them, the reason that Justin Fields unfollowed the Bears and what it says about the NFL draft just a couple of months away. We'll talk more about that.
I'll say, give me like 30 seconds and I'll be up. Okay?
Well,
I'm working on it. All right. I just hit save and close, so it should be there soon.
I blame AT&T personally. It's a joke. I do not blame AT&T.
I blame the cyber attack and the end of all things.
Hashtag cyber attack. Hashtag leprechaun zombies. Hashtag apocalypse. We have talked a little bit about MLB's expansion, going from 30 to 32 teams, what cities might end up with teams. I have given you the 2 I think most likely. Technically 1 and then 1 of 2 others. You get it. Now, let's get to one Nicholas Saban. The former coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide has retired. And if you believe the speculation, and honestly, I kind of do.
Was that a text you got? Or
it was.
Yeah.
But no, it was an Instagram
okay.
DM.
I just thought maybe your phone was back up so we could report it if it was, but it's not. So
the Instagram DM is still good. Instagram's up. The world's not ending yet because Instagram's still up. And if it is, at least we can IG our way through the impending apocalypse. So the Instagram is still up. We're good. Let's start Nick Saban. Nicholas Lou Saban Jr., if you believe the speculation. And again, I kind of do, to be honest with you. Likely retired not because he was done with college football, but because he was done with college football, ... as we know it. Which is the tagline that so many coaches have been dropping lately when they complain, whine, cry, moan about their multi-million-dollar jobs suddenly being harder to do. He said, in fact, you know what? I'll go. Let me go ahead and pull up the quote. I don't want to misquote the great Nick Saban, who, by the way, so that we're very clear, I am a fan of. I think is the GOAT. It is not Joe Paterno, Bobby Bowden, Bear Bryant. It is Nick Saban. The thought is Nick Saban walked away. And the thought is he walked away because college football has changed. Nick Saban dropped the college football as we know it line on all of us in Bolton, which again, I'm here for. I'm never going to fault anybody for deciding that the job that they're doing ain't for them anymore. The job that they're doing is not a job that they are enjoy doing. Life, dudes and dudettes, is short. You have X amount of days to spin around the sun. If you don't want to waste them working in a job you hate, don't. But as with everything else in the world, understand there are consequences to every decision that you make and action that you take. Nick decided, again, if you believe the speculation, I do, that I've made a lot of money and I don't want to have to work this hard. I want to X's and O's, not call the Jimmies and the Joes and beg for money. And again, fine. It's your life. It's your choice. But then Nick Saban came out and he said, quote, if my voice can bring about some meaningful change, I want to help any way I can because I love the players and I love college football. Admirable. Zero issue with that take. Zero issue with that thought, that line of questioning. No worries. Then he went on with line number 2. What we have now is not college football. Not college football as we know it. He didn't say it like that.
He's right, though. It's the NFL light. It's not college football. There are no more scholar athletes It is now employees, and which are in the process of unionizing. Pretty soon we're going to have a salary cap, and the portal will just be changed to trades, because that's what they are. And I mean, and they have a salary, and it's not college football anymore. He's right.
Okay. Sure. Good.
I'm not saying, I wish we could go back, because we can't. Just deal with what things are now, but call it what it is. NFL light.
I think that there are multiple angles to this. The first is the only thing that has changed. The only thing is that players have control over their own lives. That's it. That's all that's changed.
No, they get paid up front now, instead of $500 handshakes and stuff, and
sure,
borrowing cars and things like that. So which makes them an employee of someone. And
you
which,
acknowledge that it was this way 15 years ago.
Oh,
acknowledge that.
Not to this degree.
I didn't say to this degree.
Not to this degree.
I said 15 years ago.
You don't put parameters. You don't put parameters on me. Not to this degree.
I asked you a question,
and I answered it.
Did this happen 15 years ago? Regardless of the level of the frequency and the quantity of it, did this happen 15 years ago?
Like this? No.
I didn't ask like this. I said, did this happen 15 years ago? The answer is yes. I will go ahead and answer for you here. Yes. This has always been the thing. It's just that back in the day, only the best of the best players.
A yes is too simple, and I can't be that simple on this.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, I'm described this simple all the time. Lonzo called me basic this morning.
No,
okay?
you called yourself basic. I called you a hipster. Two totally different things.
So he said, quote, listen, I'm for the players. It's not that I'm not for the players. I want to see the players have a great quality of life and be able to create value for themselves. But we've gone to nobody talking about education, nobody talking about creating value for their future, to talking about only how much money I can make while I'm in college. I think the consequences of this could come down the road when some of these guys get 28 and 29 years old, and maybe they didn't prepare themselves for when they can't play football anymore, which is what you should do when you go to college. That's fine. Nick, you know what this is?
I was going to say, you're not going to be anti-education right here,
No.
are you? Because
No.
that would be weird.
Quite the opposite. Here's what this is. This is a very common tactic, primarily amongst politicians, where they speak from a platform of idealism that runs counter to their actions. It's very easy to grab a mic and go, I'm in favor of education, and I'm in favor of local businesses, and I'm in favor of X and Y and Z. And then you go, wait a minute, but you're not doing anything for those things, because what you'll notice is over the years, here I'll challenge you, all of you collectively, all of you who are ready to scream at the mic and say Rob Brown should be ripped off the radio because he's an idiot. I challenge you this quick. Go find
That's
me.
what we call Thursday, by the way.
Yeah. Go find me at any point when Nick Saban so vociferously grabbed a microphone and lobbied for better educational opportunities for players. You won't find it. There's been no point. And I'm not faulting Nick Saban for this, because he's just a football coach. But quick, I would like you to amass, in the way we have done with Dabo and Mike Loxley and Nick Saban and Chip Kelly, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I would like for you to compile me the cheat sheet of all the times that these same combined coaches, the ones who are so dearly committed to providing the best educational opportunity for these athletes, go find me all the times that they grabbed a mic and talked about enhancing educational opportunities. Don't worry, I'll wait. Go find me all the times Nick got on the mic and said, you know what I'd really like to see? What I would really like to see is more educational opportunities for my players. I'd like to see the university do more to enhance their education. You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see, what if That $1 million booster payment that we got for the football program, I would like to see a quarter of that money go towards educational enhancement of my football team. I'm willing to bet at no point did Nick Saban take the football budget, of which he had a large hand, he was the University of Alabama, and circle a chunk of it and go, this is for the education of my kids. I bet you won't find that. Do you know why? Because he never gave a damn about that. Now, there are some guys who have high graduation rates. Dabo Swinney, round of applause. He graduates kids out of Clemson. At least he walks the walk in that element. But years ago, there was a controversy going around Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And I'll have to go look it up. I thought about this seconds ago. But there was a controversy about a term called gray shirting kids, which was basically where you kind of forced them on the out with the inevitable conclusion being that you were yanking away scholarships. You were going to end up taking them off scholarship because they weren't performing. And never once did I hear Nick say, I was going to take this kid off a scholarship, but what I'd really like is to make sure that his education is thorough and solid so that when he can't play football anymore, he's a big smart boy. Never heard it before. Now, all of a sudden, Mike Locksley and Mark Stoops and Nick Saban, now they really care about these kids' education. Now it matters. Isn't it funny how we didn't have any of these coaches out there banging the drum for the best possible? They were never pulling funding from football to enhance educational opportunities, but now that's what it's about. It's almost like it's not that.
I don't know. Is that the sort of thing that becomes public? Is that the sort of thing that people would care to report on? So I can't say that they haven't done that.
Do you think if Nick Saban pulled money from football to put it into the school that the University of Alabama's fan base wouldn't have had something to say about it? The University of Alabama.
What I'm saying is he could have
socks from cream to white would lose their damn minds.
He could have done this without reporting it. I mean, it is possible.
That you can. Alabama's a public university. I promise you, there are journalists every day poring over the finances of that school. Had money got moved out of football, it would have been noticed.
So you're saying there would be outrage if they used some money from football for education.
Attention paid to it.
Okay, because you made it sound like there would be outrage.
Outrage, support, applause, a riot. I don't know. I know the folks in Tuscaloosa like they football a lot more than they like they schooling. Okay?
Wow.
I've been there.
Wow.
I've been there. I love Alabama. I'm going to tell you right now, I have been to 25, 26, 27 different colleges for games of all levels. And I'm going to tell you right now, my top 3 college football experiences are South Bend, Indiana, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It was one of the most incredible, surreal, monumental, and memorable, that's the word I'm looking for, college football experiences I've ever had. The people were incredible. The parties were outrageous. I had a fantastic damn time as a 25-year-old in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I love it.
I've noticed Texas A&M wasn't on your list.
Because they're cool. I don't hang out with Colts. They're weird people, okay? I love the folks at Alabama. What I'm saying is...
But you said they were dumb. You love them, but they're dumb.
I didn't say they're dumb. I said they like football more than school. That doesn't make you dumb. It makes you a football fan.
Okay. All right. Because you implied, and maybe I just read something into it that wasn't there.
I hosted a show in the Florida Panhandle called Southern Sports Tonight for a number of years. That show, when I got on it, was not a football show, Lonzo. It was not a college football show. It was not an SEC show. It was an SEC football show. All we did, it was a drive time show in a 1 million person market. All I was allowed to talk about for the first year of my career on that show was SEC football. I interacted with a lot of Bammers. I got dear friends who were Bammers. Some of them very big, smart boys as well. But they like their football. And if Nick moved money out of football and into the school, it would have gained attention. And again, because you can FOIA their records, and people do a lot, That money would have been noticed, talked about, discussed.
It's funny. Adam Schefter just X'd. And here's what he said, and I quote, "A trend that has emerged this winter, many college coaches are tired of the transfer portal, the NIL money, and the new NCAA world and prefer to work in the NFL. Many college coaches already have left. Many more want to."
Sure. And you know what's happening every time Nick Saban retires? Somebody kicks a bunch of ass to get that job.
I'll say he's only retired once. Well, I mean, if
it's not for you, then get out of the way and move, because it is for somebody else. I'm going to tell you right now, for what Nick Saban was making, hell, for a quarter of what Nick Saban was making, I will work 20-hour days, 7 days a week. That's not a question. For what Nick was making, I will work 20-hour days for 7 days a week. Without a thought. I don't have to think about it. That's an immediate yes.
Probably not a good idea when you're about to get married. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Hey, sweetheart, I'm going to make $10 million a year, but I got to work a lot. You good with that?
Yeah, you said so you'd be home 4 hours and you would probably sleep the whole time.
No, I'd
right?
probably stay at the office. I'd probably live in the facility for that much money.
Wow.
The point that I'm making here is that for every Nick Saban that wants out, there's somebody else who wants in. For every Nick Saban, there's some young cat out there busting hump to figure it out. Mike Norvell, who's going to step in and figure it out. Lane Kiffin,
so
and
you
succeed.
You lose the old guard who made college football great, and you get these younger guys in. How do we know that the game is not going to go downward after losing all these guys?
How do you know it's not going to go upward?
Exactly, but how do you know it's not going to go downward?
That's not a reason not to change. That's not how do you know awful things are going to happen? How do I know I'm not going to get on I-85 and get run off the road and die today? I don't, but I got to go home.
Well, you might. AT&T is down and the world's ending. So
that's true. That's true. It is the apocalypse. Things might go sideways. Here's the point. Isn't it funny that all these things happened that make college football coaching harder? Okay? And now all of a sudden, we care about the education. We care about these kids. It's funny. You didn't 6 years ago when you didn't have to pay them a damn thing and they couldn't go anywhere. You didn't care when once they signed that scholarship, you own their ass for 4 years.
I don't doubt for a minute that he cares about the students and their education.
Listen, I have talked to many former Alabama players. I've been doing this a long time, and every one of them has nothing but love for Nick Saban and said Nick was absolutely a positive influence on their life. I'm not questioning the character, the compassion, the concern, or the care of Nick Saban. I have never met a former Alabama player who had anything to say except Nick Saban was a wonderfully positive influence on my life. That's not what I'm questioning here. What I'm saying is I'm tired of the rhetoric. I'm tired of the rhetoric. I'm tired of trying to pull college football backwards to how it used to be, where these kids were locked in, they couldn't make money. Oh, we want to keep it in-house. Why? Why would you want to keep NIL in-house? Why would you want to demand, as Nick Saban did, that NIL runs through Alabama? Could it possibly be so that you go back to being in control of their money? Could that be the reason? So that you get your fingers? You're the big every time somebody talks about money, it's because they want a piece of it guy. So why would Nick Saban want NIL collectives gone and the money to flow through the athletic department of Alabama? Can we come up with a reason? It's so that they go back to being in control of everything. College football coaches don't feel like they're in 100% control anymore, and it drives them up a wall. Why wouldn't it? College football coaches have been in control of every aspect of everything, including their players' lives for all but the last 3.5 years of football. And now they're not. So I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. They're going to leave. The old guard's going to step away. They're going to start going to take position jobs or go into the NFL or whatever. And the Mike Norvells and the Lane Kiffins and the Dan Lannings of the world are going to go, yeah, I'll do it. That's a lot of money. I'll do it. Yeah, I'm going to do that and be successful at it. And you're going to have a new era of football. And for those of you who are terrified by the words new era, new age, new generation, sucks to be you, dude, because that's what's happening right now.
Why are you rubbing crystals while you're saying all that?
Stevie Nicks was like on stage talking about crystals last night. And
Was
I'm like,
he?
Stevie.
So you don't
She
believe
said,
in
"You
the
guys-
power of
you guys have
crystals?
so many crystals in this city. And I'm like, oh, what are we doing?
Do we? Do we? That sounds like a hipster thing. You would probably know.
No, it's a hippie thing.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's a
I mean,
hippie thing.
okay. All right. I didn't mean to
You may
offend
call
you.
me a hipster. You may not call me a hippie. Texter says, wow, Rob thinks money makes you happy. I give him 6 months and he will hate his life. Tell Rob he can't yell in person like he does on the radio. First off, money can't buy happiness. You know what it can buy? Jet skis and four-wheelers and vacations to Paris. All things that make me real happy. Yeah, I will let someone kick my ass a lot for Nick Saban's salary. And I'll do it for 10 years and retire, and you will never see me again because my very happy behind will be somewhere else very rich.
And if you think he's not going to yell in person the way he does on the radio, you don't really know him very well.
That's also fair. We got to run to a break, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back here in just a minute, the legendary Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast, joins us, and we talk Carolina Panther football. And we'll also see if Rashad wants to be rich like Nick Saban. Yes, he does. We all do. The Rob Rouse Show rolls on next. It is the Fan Upstate.
Smith and James.
All right, guys, live read. We're setting up Rashad, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Rashad Beard, what's up, big dog?
What's going on, guys?
What you doing, man?
Good.
You trying to get rich, or are you one of these money can't buy happiness weirdos?
Nah, man, money can definitely buy happiness.
That's what's
for
up.
Sure.
That's what's up.
How do you guys know that? Because I don't.
Because I'm poor and unhappy.
No, because I've never had money to know. So
more money, more problems, though, too. I mean, it's a gift and a curse, I guess.
I'll tell you what. I will take those problems.
Take the problem.
You know what I mean? I still got problems. Now, money can fix a lot of the problems I got. Let's be real.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Rashad, do you know who R-Truth is?
Absolutely.
We're going to be interviewing him in a couple hours.
Up?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
R-Truth is great, man. He's on a nice little run right now,
the show
too.
today, running it tomorrow.
Yeah, he's on a nice little run, too, man.
He's a Charlotte boy, too.
He is a Charlotte guy, yeah.
Is there any question that you would like us to ask R-Truth?
I mean, nah, I think I've listened to a lot of interviews from him. I think, one of the biggest ones would be, how does he feel about not, getting a true title run? You know what I mean? Like I think he's been around for a long time, but I don't know.
Yeah, because he was a champion elsewhere.
So, yeah. But I think that question has been asked before. I've listened to him answer that before. So it's anything new, not necessarily.
We're just going to ask him a bunch of little Jimmy questions.
Yeah.
How little Jimmy's doing.
R-Truth is great, man. He's great. Always reinventing himself.
Yep. And as someone close to his age, man, I wish I looked that good.
Yeah, he's in great shape. His hairline's starting to go, but he's in great shape.
I'm going to tell you what. If I can be jacked like that dude at 52, you
take
can
the
have
hair,
it, bro. You can have it. All right, it is Thursday. You know what that means? Time to talk a little Carolina Panther football with one half of the Panther Nation podcast. You can follow them on Twitter at Panther Nation at PC. More importantly, go find them on YouTube. Make sure you are subscribed. There is not a better spot for Panther discussion than the Panther Nation podcast. Rashad Beard joins us on the show. What's up, big dog?
What's going on, guys? Happy to be here. Another week of the off season.
Yeah, man. It is quiet, kinda.
Yeah,
except for we started to see some smoke coming up out of Charlotte, North Carolina earlier this week that said Carolina, and I don't know what these reports are. I don't know what your read is. I read a couple of places. Carolina made an offer to Brian Burns. That offer was somewhere between 25 and 27 mil. 27 was the number he asked for last offseason, but that he wants 30 mil a year starting this year. Labeled a down season by a lot of folks. Rashad, you and I have talked about this before. I think the defense was asked to do like a lot this year, so I'm not shocked by the underwhelming performance of the defense. He wants 30. Carolina offering between 25 and 27. And that, of course, if they can't come to the agreement, means Burns catching the tag, ?
Yeah, this is a very, very interesting conundrum the Carolina Panthers find themselves in, and one we kind of saw coming, especially last year when Brian Burns had a pseudo holdout, didn't quite hold out, ended up playing, put his body on the line, played on the fifth-year option, and he wanted his money, and the Carolina Panthers did not give him the money. And, he took one for the team. I'm going to play, was worried about injuries. But that's what the report is. So he didn't quite give it his best shot. Teams, a lot of fans were expecting the double-digit 15 sack year, and it just did not happen for whatever reason, whether it's the schemes, team scheming against him, or he's, trying to protect himself from injury, whatever the case may be. That didn't quite pan out. And so now the Panthers are, hey, you want 30 mil, but didn't give us $30 million production. No, we can't do that. And so I definitely see both sides of this. I can see the Brian Burns part of it where he's saying, hey, man, listen, I've been doing it here consistently. I've played under like 5-6 different coaches. And, I've been here since Rivera. I've been around for a long, long time. you guys kind of owe me some back pay a little bit. You know, I mean, I've been dealing with a lot, and the Panthers are like, look, I got a new regime. We can't fit you in here. We cannot give you the money that you're asking for and build around Bryce Young. We can't do that given the current cap status. And so I see both sides of this. I do eventually think, it's going to lead to a franchise tag situation. And I don't expect Brian Burns to play under said franchise tag. I think there's a long-term holdout here, and this is about to be nasty. This is going to be a nasty situation.
Which you kind of hate because as far as face of the franchise goes, I mean, obviously Bryce Young is positioned to be that guy, but with the trade of Christian McCaffrey, Brian Burns kind of stepped into that role a little bit. So to have this squabble, which again, I do think is absolutely understandable, but to have this squabble, especially if it's over $3 million a year, whether it's, a 5-year contract more or less, dude, it's just, I don't know how else to put this. I know it's unprofessional. It's kind of a bummer, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. I mean, yeah, and shout out to Robert Flores in the chat. He says this feels like Julius Peppers all over again. I completely agree. For those that that were around back then, this is a very similar situation to Peppers. Peppers wanted to get paid. We said we drew the line in the sand, didn't do it. He ended up going to Chicago, et cetera, came back. But yeah, I mean, listen, I see both sides of this, man. Again, I don't know what the Panthers are going to do, but I can tell you this. It is frustrating to see, once again, from a fan standpoint, our guys continue to go off into the sunset. And I have to turn hater mode on once again because now he is left Carolina. We did it with CMC. We did it with Cam Newton. We did it. I mean, there's a multitude of guys where we cannot seem to keep our good players in Carolina. And then when we let them go or trade for them, we cannot execute with said draft picks. Like, I can understand if we let the guy walk and then you replace him with an excellent player. Like that is how it's supposed to work. But when you let a guy walk like Brian Burns and then have a guy in the waiting in the wings like DJ Johnson, with all due respect, that's not good. You can't operate a team like that. And that's why we continue to end up picking in the top 10 and number 1 overall, is because we cannot replace our talent. We're not drafting very well. So it's just not a good situation for the Carolina Panthers to find themselves in, especially with the lack of draft capital. Now, maybe they try to recruit some of that in a tag and trade, but I don't know, man. It's just a messed up situation.
What is if they do decide to go tag and trade, because I've seen that thrown around a lot more frequently, especially now that you're going into a draft where, yeah, you're sitting on pick 33, but not a ton of that extra playroom available. Is Brian Burns, is that a guy you're comfortable with doing if it picks you up a couple of draft picks elsewhere? And B, how much does that impact your defense, assuming you can't find a replacement for Brian Burns? Do you think the next guy to step up's on the roster already, or does that kind of obligate you to use those picks to find his replacement?
Right. That's the biggest thing. There's nothing behind Burns. Like, let's be honest here. You got DJ Johnson. YGM is on a contract year, so he's a free agent. Marquise Haynes, also a free agent. You got Frankie Louvu, who's also a hybrid pass rusher, a free agent, but we're probably looking to get him back. And so, yeah, there's nothing behind Brian Burns, right? And so if you happen to pick up some picks for Brian Burns, hopefully it's a couple first rounders, which we turned down, albeit from, the LA Rams a year ago, allegedly. And so, like, it's just really, it's really messed up, man. It's really messed up. And you're going to create a huge gap on that defense by letting him leave, like, if that happens. And so, again, if you get said picks, you've got to end up finding somebody that's going to produce. And one thing I will give credit to Evero is that he's done a great job. If you go back and look at Denver, his Denver years, he did an excellent job without a premier pass rusher. That defense was still top 10 without a premier pass rusher. And so maybe they're going to put the onus on Evero to get the best out of whoever he's playing with. I think that's a bit unfair to kind of handicap the guy, but maybe again, I've said this on my show, is that this whole year is about supporting Bryce Young, right? And yes, a part of that is getting him a good defense, right? We don't want a scenario where our defense is just, Swiss cheese, and then, you got to put all the pressure on Bryce Young to score points. But I do believe a lot of the resources, a lot of the money that we want and have in the offseason is going to go towards getting a receiver, or go towards fixing the interior offensive line. So man, it's a really tough scenario, man. It's tough. It is tough. I see both sides of this, man.
So we had this discussion earlier this week where we have been talking about the offensive line versus wide receivers, looking at free agents. I went and looked at the free agent wide receiver list, dude. It's not real good. You got T. Higgins on it. I think that guy's getting franchise tag. In fact, I think of the top 6 guys that are wide receivers, probably 4 of them are getting tagged before this whole thing's over. I've been bouncing back and forth about, all right, this is a real deep wide receiver class in the draft this year. A lot of good names, a lot of guys that any other year would probably be top 20 picks that might be available at 33 because of how many there are, which makes me want to go, and almost feels like you're kind of obligated to focus your free agency on that offensive line and look wide receiver in the draft to try to find that young guy that you can kind of groom and mold with Bryce Young. What's your thoughts on that, looking at the free agent list and who might be a fit and who might not be?
Yeah, it's a great question. We did that breakdown just this past Tuesday of the offensive, the wide receivers. And so the wide receiver class, like you said, a lot of those guys are definitely going to get franchise tagged. I believe 2 of them have already been franchise tagged, T. Higgins, and I forgot who else got franchise tagged. Pittman from Indianapolis also got franchise tagged. So that leaves guys like potentially a Mike Evans. So you look at what the franchise tag is for Brian Burns. If we're going to franchise tag him, that's $24 million. We could shift that $24 million, that same $24 million per year, and grab a Mike Evans. And so I don't know what's going to happen with Mike Evans. Maybe he gets tagged. Maybe they figure something else out with him. I don't know. I don't know what the Bucs are going to do with him. Also, you got guys like Calvin Ridley, who I think is a very good option, a very solid route runner. So I think we've got to free up some cap. We've got some work to do from a cap perspective to get enough space to make some maneuvers. So it's going to be interesting to see what Brant Tillis does there from a cap perspective, to see what we're going to do in free agency. I think this draft class is deep in interior offensive line and wide receiver. I think you can find somebody in the second round. The problem is that we don't have a lot of draft capital, right? So maybe we're talking about 33. Maybe you take that 33, trade back a couple of picks, and acquire some more day 2 picks to get more cracks at getting a guy. It's really like, this is one of the tougher off seasons because there's so many needs, not a lot of cap resources, not a lot of draft resources, but you got to get somebody to help out Bryce. And I do believe going the veteran route for interior offensive linemen should be the way to go, because you don't want to risk Bryce development on, trying to train up a guy and develop an interior offensive lineman when, at the same time risking. We've seen that happen. We've done that already. But at the same time, you got to get into talent, some wide receiver talent as well. So a lot of needs. We're a 2-win team, not very good. So we got a lot of gaps to fill, a lot of holes.
That was the thought that I went. I think you got to go free agency on the offensive line, and I think you just got to roll the dice on like a couple of wide receivers in the draft and hope you stumble into a Marcus Colston situation where you get that guy who kind of quiet storm breaks out. That being said, listen, everything you just said, agree with, spot on accurate. A lot of questions, not a lot of answers. What's that say, if anything? And I know this is almost kind of a put the ball on the tee for you moment, but hey, welcome to radio. That's what we do. What's that say about the management process over the past couple of years of Carolina, that you've got yourself in this position where you have a billion questions and zero answers? And more importantly, what kind of level of trust in Dan Morgan do you have to fix it?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's tough. And this is exactly what happens when you have the constant turnover in the front office and at head coach. All these head coaches have different visions for the team. They have different personnel that's going to execute their schemes. And so this constant change, you're getting this hodgepodge of guys that don't mesh together. And so now you got Dan Morgan, who said, hey, he's been around, right? He's seen some of this, and maybe he can kind of, say, all right, this is where I would have zigged when we zagged. And so like, hopefully he can figure it out. And he does have some skin in the game and been around, knows the personnel. Hopefully he can talk to Canellis and say, hey, this is what we got. And this is how maybe we can get the best of it. But it's going to take some years. It's going to take some time for us to get this thing right from a personnel standpoint. So fan base, again, we've got to, I know we've been saying this forever, and I don't know how much patience there is in the world, but you got to be patient with the guys and let them execute their vision because it's not going to happen overnight. Hopefully we can, maybe there's a match that gets sparked and we hit, maybe 7-8 wins off the rip. But I don't expect that. And it's going to take some time. It's really going to take some time because, again, the constant turnover at head coach, the constant turnover at GM has just put us in a complete mess. Different contract mindsets. You've got Scott Fitter, who started experimenting with the Saint way of building contracts and adding on voided years. That kicks the can down the road, affects future cap. So we've got to get out of that too. Like there's just a lot. There's layers to this, and I know a lot of people just want us to fix it immediately and just pay everybody, right? But that's just unfortunately not possible. I mean, I love Brian Burns. I got the Florida State helmet. I've been following Brian Burns for a long time. But at the end of the day, we've got to do what's best for the franchise. And I'm not saying signing Brian Burns isn't part of that, because maybe we can find a way, because good teams find a way to do it. Good teams find a way to keep their guys, and maybe we can find a way to do it. I love Brian Burns, but I don't know what's going to happen, man. We just got to exercise some patience and let's see the vision. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, there's not much more that stings as a fan than when you have to shift looking at a guy that has meant a lot to your franchise and means a lot to you as a fan, but you have to start viewing him in terms of what he's worth in terms of capital as opposed to what he means on the field, especially sentimentally, right? Like when you got to look at Brian Burns and view him as draft picks and veteran players as opposed to this is what this guy has meant to this program, seeing the Spider-Man dance and all that stuff. It kind of stings a little bit, but I don't think Carolina has a choice. And I think on top of that, Rashad, I said this last week on the show, it got a little pushback, so I'll throw it at you and get your thought. Anybody who thinks that this is like a one-season project is going to be sorely disappointed. And that's not to say Carolina can't or won't win more games next year. That's not to say Carolina can't or won't double, triple their win total next year. But if you think this team, even in a bad division, is going to bounce back from the hole it's in right now and be a team that is in any way overall competitive next year, dude, you got to slow the roll. This is a 2, probably 3-year rebuild. And I know it stings, but you don't have any other options, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's our reality, man. A lot of people are going to have those expectations. Again, it comes with the territory, and like, I think one of my viewers had a great comment a while back, and they were saying that, hey, Carolina Panthers fans have a problem with separating regimes, right? This is all compounded, right? And it's unfair to Canales, it's unfair to whoever comes here to coach, is that these expectations and the frustration that we've been dealing with for the past 6 years comes right on your shoulders. And that comes with the territory, right? But we've been frustrated for years. Like, this is not just a last year thing. This is not just a 1-year thing with Bryce. This is with Frank Reich. Goes all the way back to at the end of Rivera with Matt Rule. All the stuff, these things have compounded, right? And so the frustration has led up to this. And so you get these expectations. All right, you got to come fix this immediately. And that's just unfair. It's unfair to Canales. And I, obviously, as one that follows the game, I'm not, again, I don't know the X's and O's like that. I'm not a super, again, I got an associates over here. I'm working with associates, not a bachelor's, not a doctorate. So I know what I'm looking at, and I have to take my time and say, all right, I understand how this works. And I understand the nuance to the business side of it and how it's going to take some time to get this thing going. And just a regular fan, that is very frustrating because you don't understand the layers that comes with this. It's going to take some time, and that's just what it is. It's just the reality of the situation, and it's unfortunate, and it's frustrating. But I do believe the NFL is designed to be cyclical, right? We've been at the top before, okay? We were just at the top in 2015. We will get back. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, and we just got to wait our turn. That's really what it boils down to. We're gonna come back. We'll be back.
10-second answer. Brian Burns, $27 million a year, worth it, yes or no?
Yeah, I say yes, man. I say yes.
Okay. We will break that down further next week because we might know if he's catching the tag or not next time we talk. Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast. You can follow them on Twitter at Panther Nation PC. More importantly, get them on YouTube at Panther Nation Podcast. Get searched, get subscribed. Is your cell phone working this morning?
It is.
Okay. I'm caught up in the apocalypse over here. Nobody's all right.
Yeah, mine's working too.
Ugh.
It's just another oddball.
World's out to get me, man. I don't have to tell you. Rashad, we'll talk to you next week, big dog. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
You know it. Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast. Again, follow them on Twitter and YouTube. And we're back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Rashad, get up out of here quick. My man said, I got stuff to do.
So the only reason why I was pointing that out to you is I didn't want you to freak out when you looked over and saw a guy in the window. It took my dude 10 minutes to get the ladder right.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's going to go through the window. He's just going to mess up. He's going to go right through the window.
Those of y'all over here from the PNP, if y'all want to follow us over on the other page, you are welcome to. At the Rob Brown Show on YouTube. Search and subscribe to that. We're live 4 hours every day. All right, so it's not just me. Dcash says his phone ain't working either. Mine's not, has not been since I woke up at 3:30 this morning.
Just curious if we're going to be able to tell the difference in the building since it's being power washed. I can imagine what it's like. Well, I've worked in downtown Greenville, like on the 10th floor of one of the buildings. It is weird to look out and see someone in the window washing the window. But that is disturbing, the noise.
The whoever is doing the pressure washing is also apparently in a fist fight with the
No,
building.
no, it's the ladder. Yeah, because I'm seeing the ladder move. And he might be hitting that metal thing, that whatever that's called, that doesn't really do anything. It's just decorative.
Yeah.
Oh, it does one thing. It
awning.
gathers the raindrops to drop on you when you try
It
to go
does.
underneath. But oh, look at that midriff. You want to see some midriff? It's right there. Look to your right. Oh, you move
My
now.
right?
No, to your left. My right. My bad.
I don't know what I missed. This is basically the Stone Age.
This is why you need to subscribe to those online prepper services. Get all your food ready. Get your compound ready. Get your water ready. Because inevitably, when it does happen, you're not going to have cell service. I mean, you know. If anything, the zombie leprechauns will take out the cell towers first because they taste good. I mean, you know, they
feed on electricity.
Radio, yeah, and radio waves.
Yeah, they feed on electricity. What do we want our truth to say as a liner?
I don't know. You expecting me to be creative? I don't do that. Whatever you write, I'm sure it will be disparaging towards me because it's funny. Or just ask Hendrix to write it. Something about real men. Yeah, you got to put that in there somewhere.
Just so we're all abundantly clear on this, I take no pleasure, no happiness, no enjoyment in the realization that this Panther football team is going to be bad again next year. Now, we're going to have a lot of discussions about how bad this is. Like I said, to me, there is zero excuse, none, not 9, about why this team can't improve its win total. Okay, there's no reason. There's zero reason. that this team can't improve the win total. It has to. It's not a question mark. It has to. But with that being said, how much it might do so, that is the question. And I don't think we can answer that yet, unfortunately. In looking at this team, we are waiting to see what happens with Brian Burns. We are waiting to see what happens with Derek Brown. We're waiting to see what happens with all these different guys, all these different players. And the reality of the situation is there is no way to know. There's no way to know. I think that there is a problem in that the management, the ownership of this team has been so bad so long that they've been pushing the fix. What is the fix? A complete franchise reboot. I will tell you this, as a New Orleans Saints fan, I'm terrified right now. And I'm terrified because that's the position my team's in right now. The fix is a full system reboot. The fix is 1 year where you're awful, where you get rid of everybody that has been anything to your team. The Camaras, everybody that's not Chris Olave has got to go. Cam Jordan's got to go. Tamario Davis has got to go. Everybody that's not Chris Olave got to go. And that's only because he's still on a rookie deal.
I would say hang on to all the Ohio State players, but that's too much of the team. So
It's most of them, actually, I think.
Yeah.
Everybody gotta go. That's just the reality. The Panthers, unfortunately, the Panthers have been in that position for like a while. They've been in that spot for like a while.
But there's only a few pieces left that they could actually move and get anything out of. Since what they did, they got rid of their best assets last year, at least offensively.
I don't disagree with that, but that's kind of what I'm driving at here. The reality is you've put off taking the medicine so long that the sickness has gotten worse. And now just taking the medicine ain't going to help you. Just taking the pill's not going to help you. You got to have like big time surgery now. You could have taken the medicine 2, 3, 4 years ago. You pushed it off, 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 and now you're in a spot where pushing it off further is not going to help you. At this point, you're just going to have to own it. And that's a 2 to 3 year process for Carolina now. I don't like it either. Again, if that team's good, I make more money. If that team's good, I get told, hey, go up to Charlotte and cover games. Hey, this bar wants to bring you in to talk football. Hey, you're going to do this. You're going to do that. When the team's not good, I don't get those things. That is sad and depressing to me. But it is what it is. We got to take a break. Top of the hour. Here's what's going to happen in the next hour. There is a bit of a breaking story coming out of college football right now that I would like to get to. We will open up the hour with that. Then it's time for Fight Club with the great one, Lonzo. Then what the X is going on, where we're just going to complain about the oncoming apocalypse for a couple of minutes. Then Lonzo and I are going to interview R-Truth off the air. Sorry, you'll have to wait till tomorrow for one of the WWE GOATs to show up. But before we do any of that, Lonzo is about to blow your mind with this Sports Flash.
Maybe the last one ever because, AT&T is down. The 12-team college football playoff model may last just 2 years. According to reports, CFP Director Bill Hancock has already floated the idea of expanding the playoffs to 14 teams starting in 2026. Hancock acknowledged the idea was discussed, but said there's still work to be done before a move is made. Discussions about numbers of automatic qualifiers and finances were started, but are far from finalized. It took Toronto Maple Leafs Austin Matthews 54 games to reach 50 goals as he sank a power play goal at 5:01 into a game against Arizona last night. That goal also made history as Matthews became the fastest player to reach 50 goals in 28 years. Tune in Saturday at 1:30 as the Furman men's basketball team takes on Wofford right here on your home for Paladins football and basketball. It's us, the Fan, Upstate. Do you ever think about when, things like this happen? What you would do if you couldn't get home? I know I thought that because I was, here, we were in the other building when 9/11 happened. Do you think about that? I mean, when something like this happens, I know Rob is just like destroying it, but if this were something that turned into something major and you can't get a hold of anyone at home or at work, what do you do? Back in the day, before all the technology, there was, you have a meeting place, you try to get to that place at this time, that sort of thing. I wonder if that's still a thing. I know in our case, my immediate family, we all live like right around the same, technically on the same compound, if you want to look at it that way. So it would just be go home. There are also those, compounds are just not just military. They're also like cult compounds. I don't know if you've seen all those cults are considered on a compound. I don't know. I haven't looked up the definition of compound, but other people have said I live on one, so why not go with it? I do live back in the woods a ways.
Back in the woods a ways.
If you were to walk to my house from the street, you would get a little winded. You got to go downhill and uphill and over a couple creeks. As far as getting stuck at work in an apocalypse, this wouldn't actually be a bad place to get stuck in. There definitely are worse ones. Ooh. Yeah, yurts are a must in a compound, especially if you're visiting. Rob's a yurt kind of guy. Hipsters all have yurts.
I've never been in a yurt. TBH.
Do you want to be in a yurt?
I don't know.
It's just
I'm not entirely sure what a yurt is.
It's just a kind of tent. Look it up. I bet you've been in a yurt before. Are we going to talk about that thing that I sent you? Is that what?
Yes.
Okay. All right. A couple other places that posted it, including Ohio State. Their website posted it.
The final hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It is the Fan Upstate. How do you do, Upstate South Carolina? Hello, America. What up, world? It's great to be with
those
all
of you who could actually hear us.
Texter said, I'm having to listen to the radio like some kind of caveman since my phone service is out.
Wow.
Who was it? Somebody in the stream. I'm going to go. James said, we're basically living in the Stone Age right now. You're not wrong. It's like the Flintstones, man. Even they had at least they had the pterodactyl phone that they could send, Not us.
My phone's fully operational, but I
That makes one of us.
This darkness you describe, I don't dwell in it.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I can't call you to speak again.
Although I can't, I sent you a text and I got the same response I would have if your phone was working.
Oh, my phone definitely wasn't working. That's why I didn't text you back. My phone was totes busted, dude.
Yeah, that's what it. Yeah,
totes busted. So, we. As we continue to wade through the oncoming apocalypse.
Listen, it's not gonna hit here as quick as it will other places. I mean, the big cities. Imagine having to get around in the big city without,
gross, right?
Without your phone
Awful.
Working. How in the world that's so 1970?
It's impossible. If we're being honest, it's impossible to do.
As someone who lived through, before
the before times.
Yeah, I know it is possible, but I don't know. Oh, all you millennials don't know how to operate outside of your cell service.
Times.
Yes. This is how us olds will survive.
So, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of interesting news. I don't know if it deserves glass or not. I'll leave that up to the great one. But coming up this summer, the world will once again be made a better place. The world will once again be graced. I accept.
Well, just so you can mention the sponsor. You mean
BetQL and the BetQL network, where every Saturday from noon to 4, you can hear Bet for the Cycle, hosted by former Major League Baseball player Cody Decker and the illustrious Hating-Ass Mario, and also I'm there. From noon to 4 on the BetQL network and find Odyssey stations everywhere.
Mario's hair is excellent, by the way.
It really is. It really is. I don't want to give him credit for
I'm
anything,
I'm a tad bit jealous.
He's got great hair. There's no debating that. Also, that show's pretty good, if I may say so myself. Be a better, be smarter, beat the books. Download the BetQL app and make sure you are linked up to the BetQL network on whatever social medias you have and the Odyssey app so you don't miss a minute. By the way, we'll talk about this very briefly here in just a second. Sports gambling is officially now a multi-billion-dollar business every year. We'll talk about that. Yada, yada, yada. This summertime, we are going to once again be blessed by the return of NCAA football, the video game. You may formerly recall it as EA Sports NCAA football. It is now just going to be called college football. But it is the same game. It is the same franchise. It's coming back. And of course, those of us that are gamer dorks.
Go outside, nerd.
Those of us that...
What'd you do when you were a kid? Play Nintendo?
Say yes to that question, Nick. We are quite excited about this. It is that nice little bleed over area where our sports guydom ends up bleeding over into our nerddom. I, for one, super excited. Stupid excited, one might say. The opportunity now for college football athletes to have their name, image, and likeness in this game is on the table. You have, if you are a college football player playing on a college football team that is going to be featured on the NCAA football video game series, you may now not only have your name in the game, but you can also be paid for it. You may also elect to not be featured in the game, in which case you are going to be replaced by a generic model of yourself that will have probably a different number and a fake name attached to it. But if you want in, you are now eligible right now to go to the NCAA's official website, to go into their NIL portal portion of the website and click sign. And if you elect to be featured in the game, you will receive the payment of $600 and
wow,
a free copy of the game.
Wow. So basically $700. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
In the age of NIL, big deal. I mean, there are some linemen and the kicker who probably don't have NIL deals that will be like, yeah, man, put me in for $600.
Yeah, that's it.
So if you're a freshman and you pay the $600, do you get $600 a year, or is it's just a one-time $600?
I don't know. I'm not an attorney, nor did I stay in a Holiday Inn Express last night. I slept in my own bed, and I'm dumb, so nothing changed. My suspicion, backed up by exactly zero evidence or reason to believe this, is likely that payment would be renewed every time a new game comes out, because they would have to update you and your model and your stats and your this and your that.
That makes sense. If they follow Madden's model, they'll be in, and what they used to do with this game, there would be a new one every year. So you would, but it doesn't say whether it's $600 per season. I mean, per your career.
I would assume so. $600 and a fresh copy every year. Look, this is what NIL is, man. It is one of the most popular video game franchises of all time.
Rob, $600, dude. Doesn't that seem kind of cheap?
$100, 100% it does.
Yeah.
100%, $600 feels very low. That being said, what amount of college football players are taking that? 100? 98% of them are going to say yes to being in that game, the most popular video game franchise of all time. What is going to be interesting is this.
By the way, it was. We don't know if it will be again.
I'm going to go ahead and call the shot. That game sells more copies than any other game this season, this year.
We'll see.
I will throw $1 at it right now.
Wow, a whole dollar?
A whole dollar.
Do you work for?
I don't want to take your money.
Do you work for EA?
That is going to be the single most popular selling video game of the year, without question. Even if it's not, it's going to be in the ballpark. What is going to be interesting is to see the financial breakdown of that. How much per player, per copy it goes. Now that obviously EA is going to point out that they've got to pay developers, and they got to pay programmers, and they got to pay an advertising budget, and they got to pay testers, and they got to pay all the dorks, nerds, geeks that have to go into the production of this video game.
Will the player also submit the scan? Are they going to scan the players like they do for other things, so you can get a more accurate visual of said player?
Good question. I again, this is why this is going to be interesting, because on one hand, I agree. $600 kind of feels low to be a playable character. Personally, your face in the game of the most popular video game outside of Madden that's ever been played on a console. On the flip side, there are thousands of college football players around the country that will be in this game. Thousands. Think about how many teams there are. I don't know how deep they're going to go, but if this goes all the way down to JUCO teams, if I can play as the University of West Florida Argonauts, if you're, let's say, the backup left guard for UWF, that $600 payment might be the only NIL deal you get all year.
As I recall, you could even play D3 teams in there, because I'm pretty sure I played as the team that I played on in college, and I don't know if it goes that deep, but I don't know why it wouldn't.
It's also, 2024. We have video game consoles that are more powerful than NASA was 10 years ago. There's room. There's room for it. So if you're the backup left guard at the University of West Florida, $600 and a free copy of NCAA football, Probably the biggest NIL deal you're ever going to get. If you're the starting quarterback at the University of Oklahoma, a guy that will sell some copies, probably not. Now, I'll tell you what I'm really interested in. What I'm really interested in.
Pay taxes on that?
I assume so.
On that 600 and the game?
I assume so.
Wow. So how much are they bringing in?
I do not know.
Somewhere around 400 something?
You can look at my bank account and realize I'm not a financial mastermind. I do not know. Even if it's, if they take $200 out, $400, still might be the biggest NIL deal you sign. Who I'm really interested in, if we're being honest, is the folks they put on the cover, right? If they go and they put Cade Klubnik on the cover of this game, is Cade catching an extra 10 grand for being the cover model? You enjoyed that?
I did.
Dramatically.
I absolutely did.
Dramatically too much, dude.
Hey, Kate, if you're listening. I know you're laughing too. I mean, come on, dude.
I think that I am not surprised, not shocked that is the total that they are paying athletes, because again, you can't not play him to put him in the game. They have NIL rights now. They own the rights to their own name, image, and likeness, just like everybody else. But also there's, again, 5,000 college football players nationwide that can end up in this game?
I think the cover thing is a good question. Will there be multiple covers? And also, if you are the cover athlete, do you get paid more than 600?
That's what that's like I said. I'm curious as to how they handle that. I'm curious as to how they handle guys at bigger teams. Will anybody make a legal argument that they're a bigger part of the reason why that the reason why these games are selling? Right? If you're the starting quarterback at Oklahoma, can you go make an argument that, a lot of Oklahoma fans are buying this game because of me and because of my team? I deserve more than the backup left guard at the University of West Florida. And the answer might be no. In which case, do we have a reality where some people, some big-time players start pulling out of the game, and all of a sudden NCAA loses, I should say, a large chunk of the player base, the players in the game that are a big part of the reason that so many of us want to play the game? I don't know, man. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see how this works out.
Jacob on the stream also thought what you said was funny.
Yeah, I obviously don't think Cade Klubnik's going to be on the cover. I was trying to make a local connection.
You were pretty serious, man. I thought you meant it.
Yes, I meant that. Of all the college football players in the world right now, Cade Klubnik's the guy that's going to be on the cover.
Well,
that's what I meant.
If I heard another host say that, I would believe that he's believed every second of it. But you said it, and it's like, so it must be real.
I, of course, was acting.
Well done, sir. Well done. So glad to be your understudy, also known as with an and.
Listen, all of those things being said, all of these topics of conversation being had, all the stuff that we're getting into, I love all of it. I just want the game to come out. All right. I just want to play NCAA football again. I just want to take over at Ball So Hard University, Ball State.
All right.
And take them to multiple consecutive NCAA playoff championships. That's all I want.
I've tried to find what systems it's coming out on just to see if it's going to be on Xbox One. Because if it comes out on Xbox One, we will get a copy, maybe for free, because we know a guy for the Fortress in there, and that's something that we will have to play each other in.
I will pay whatever money to have this game back in my life. Okay. Whatever money. It's been a while. Same with Madden. I'm a every other year guy. I buy it every other year because it doesn't really update all that much. It's usually the same graphics, animation, whatever. It's just new rosters. We haven't had this game for over a decade. We have not had a good college football game. Over a decade. You don't think I'm a little juiced? I will pay $200 to get this game back in my life. That's how much I want this game back.
Come on now. $200?
I mean, I prefer it be free, but I am radio rich. I am ready to pay dollars for this game to happen. Texter said, Rob, as fans, we've been waiting on this game for over a decade. We don't care if it's QB number 9 or a real person in the game. Just give me the game. Texter said, Rob, they could use all generic players, and we will still buy the game and create the actual players.
And put yourself in there also, because,
Oh, you better be kidding me. Recruit number 1 is that 6'3", 240-pound, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling legend out of Fort Walton Beach, Florida, wearing number 3, the Rob Brown.
And you give yourself a 98 rating because you'd feel guilty if you give yourself a 99.
Now I'll recruit myself as a freshman.
Okay.
I'll recruit myself as a freshman with like a 64 overall. You go through the drills, you go through practice, you get it together. Then you get turned. All of a sudden, I'm winning back-to-back Heismans, baby.
So will Rob Brown, the coach, be recruiting Rob Brown, the player, to play with Rob Brown, the quarterback?
I'll play 2 different modes, man. You gotta have your dynasty mode over here, right? You gotta have dynasty mode. That's where you take over Ball So Hard State University as their new coach, and you lead them to glory. You take the Ball State David Lettermans to glory. And then over there, I'm creative player mode. I'm trying to go win some Heismans, man. I'm trying to take over. I'm going to tell you right now, I cannot wait to QB the Furman Paladins to a couple of natties. Can't wait. I can't wait to F you everybody on the internet with creative quarterback Rob Brown. Going to be a stud. Going to be a stud.
Nice hesitation in there. Well done.
Again, I'm real good at this. We got to run to a break. When we come back here in just a minute, ladies and gentlemen, I will stop being ever so excited.
My loins have been tingling
about the NCAA football game making its return and the fact that the guys in the game, they're getting paid for it because it's Thursday. It's 9:20 on a Thursday. And you know what that means? It's time for Fight Club. That's coming up next on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Horrible punching stats.
That would be funny, Corey.
99 passing, 97 running, 85 blocking, 4 passing. That's my stat.
So Lamar. Why am I here?
Yesterday, somebody sent me a thread of very interesting NFL facts. Do you know which NFL player has the second most postseason receiving yards after the age of 40 in NFL history? Jerry Rice is number 1 with like 40,000 yards receiving. You know who is number 2? Tom Brady was 6.
What say you? I'm Mark Ryan.
Offsides with Mark Ryan, 3 to 7 p.m. today on the Fan Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, and on the Odyssey app.
Eagles Markets is a proud sponsor of the Mark Ryan Sports Spin. From the playing field to the stands to your own living room, Eagles Markets has everything you need to fuel your athlete or satisfy all the hungry fans in your life. Eagles, low prices, love the savings.
For John's 60th birthday, his family planned to drive down Old Route 66. But the trip took a detour when his wife got sick with RSV. It's a highly contagious virus that can lead to breathing problems and hospitalizations.
This year,
We don't want to cancel our plans. We're protecting ourselves with Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Brisvo, respiratory syncytial virus vaccine.
Brisvo, a vaccine to prevent lower respiratory disease from RSV in people 60 years and older. It's not for everyone and may not protect all who receive it.
I wonder what door will be safe to go out of. I like leaving anytime soon, but
Most common side effects are tiredness, headache, injection site pain, and muscle pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1.
You just get shocked?
yeah, my hand's still a little wet, so it made it tingle. No, Trey, we are going to we did already interview Rashad, but we're going to interview our truth at 10:30, so you won't be able to hear it or see it until tomorrow. Barring some AT&T disaster or the apocalypse. I had a talk with the news room when I was in the restroom, and the apocalypse has not made it to South Carolina yet, as far as they know. So we're good.
And I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com.
Starting to get nervous. I'm also trying to figure out who is, as far as stars go, wrestling wise, who is the biggest one? I mean, well, I know in size who the biggest one was, but I mean, as far as popularity at the time. And I don't know. Because we've been able to interview people who are on rosters and people who are like legends.
Legitimately, I think in the moment, it might have been Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
See,
She was white hot woman.
She was, but so was Gunther.
So was Gunther. He was intercontinental
And
champion.
I got to interview Charlotte in this room when she was, well, when she's not on a championship run, only now while she's injured. But so. I believe in the aliens too, Wesley. The only one who doesn't believe in aliens is Rob Brown.
I swear one day Lonzo will accurately portray me. Today is not that day.
Oh, I can portray you in a lot of different ways. Award-winning radio host, hipster who frequents Target.
A lot of hipster.
Has a brand, and when he's on other shows without his glasses on, it just don't look right. Been seeing videos. I'm like, well, what's he doing? So the glasses are only the brand on this show, and when you're on the national show, you take the glasses off. What's up with that? You know you squint, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I am very aware.
Welcome into the Fight Club, where even an impending apocalypse cannot stop us from going on the air and talking about fisticuffs and things like that. And if the Ruskies want to come, Rob's got something for them. Yeah.
Wolverine!
There you go. Look out. Look out. He's all ready to etch numbers on his stock of his rifle. All right. Lots of things going on. First of all, before we get into the Fight Club, let me just tell you, coming up at 10:30, even though you guys can't hear it, we are interviewing the R-Truth, and you'll get to hear it tomorrow. So that's really cool, because what's going on this weekend with the Swamp Rabbits, Rob?
Coming up on Saturday night, very cool night on Saturday. Saturday evening is two hockey games, actually, Saturday. First, starting just after 2 o'clock in the afternoon, is the Palmetto Bowl on ice, as South Carolina and Clemson will play a little hockey at the Well. And with your ticket, you get admission to both games, because that evening, the Greenville Swamp Rabbits are doing First Responders Night at the Well as well. at the well as well. We'll be celebrating the firefighters, police officers, EMS, first responders of the upstate. They will have trucks and heavy equipment, et cetera, at the well that y'all can come check out and see up close. And then there's a hockey game. And then on Sunday, ladies and gentlemen, on Sunday,
my loins have been tingling.
It is Pro Wrestling Day with the Greenville Swamp Rabbits.
Hell yeah!
Should you be there? So that we can have a little bit of fun. Pro Wrestling Day. And of course, as mentioned, the reason we're getting the opportunity to interview a living legend in Ron Killings, a.k.a. R-Truth. He will be there. He will be in attendance celebrating Pro Wrestling Day with the Rabbits. Absolutely cannot wait. That's going to be on Sunday at the well. I will be there working that game, which means, Lonzo, I get to share some mic time with R-Truth.
You get to hang with R-Truth.
I get to cut promos with R-Truth.
I know you're going to have a blast with that. And I do envy you a little bit.
You should.
I got
it's going to be awesome.
All right. Unfortunately, and fortunately, he's going to be here with us. That means he's not in Australia, and which means he can't interrupt the a match that's going on with the Judgment Day, which we'll get to in a minute. WWE Elimination Chamber is Saturday morning at 5 a.m. on the East Coast. So if you're just happen to be like us and we're up at 5 a.m. all the time, even on the weekends, we can just tune in to Peacock and watch that premium live event, or you can watch it later when Peacock allows you to. Hey, Peacock sucks. But I'm grateful to pay for that subscription so I can watch the premium live event. I know I'm all over the place. Let us go to the event itself. In the men's, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton versus Bobby Lashley versus LA Knight versus Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul. This is one of those where the only one who I think will not win is Bobby Lashley. I could see Logan Paul winning. I could see Kevin Owens winning. I don't know how Randy Orton loses, but he will, because probably Drew McIntyre is going to win this.
McIntyre's my pick. I don't disagree. It's a real interesting chamber.
Some big names. It should be very entertaining.
Real good match. I think Drew McIntyre wins. I think he has been positioned well to be given a WrestleMania main event, which is effectively what you're competing for here. They've told a good enough story with Seth Rollins. Now you have got something very interesting happen the other night when McIntyre got a win via the bloodline. Again, you'll notice McIntyre did the opposite of Gunther. Gunther won with help from the bloodline. And what did Gunther do? He was furious about it, right? Because he knew that's a dishonorable way to win a match. McIntyre, on the other hand,
was a matter sacred.
Yeah. Started making excuses for it, started talking about how that was deserved and all that. So I think you have set him up as an absolute and true chicken heel, and I think that's the perfect guy to line up across from babyface Seth Rollins. Give me Drew McIntyre.
So in the midst of this, you always have that bruiser that puts someone through the plexiglass or something like that. You know it's going to be Bobby. I don't know who he's going to put through the glass. I do think that Kevin Owens and Logan Paul are going to do something stupid.
Can't wait. That's it. I have nothing more to add. I can't wait. Kevin Owens, for jumping off the WrestleMania sign during the Thunderdome, will always be a top-notch moment for me. Logan Paul, can't stand him as a dude. Phenomenal wrestler, does incredible stuff. Those two are going to get after it, and I can't wait.
Yeah, and it's his first chamber. Let's see if he gets out of it without getting hurt or something, because they are going to do something. When I think of Kevin Owens, I think of the well. And I think of him jumping off the stairwell, and he was just sitting there for a while, and he was scooting down. I was like, is he going to? And then boom, there he went off and I used to think he was just scared of doing anything up high, but I guess it was all an act, because he does it more than just about anyone. All right. The Women's World Championship is going on between Rhea Ripley, who's down under in her home country, versus Nia Jax, the uncrowned queen of WWE. Sorry, Charlotte. I know who I'm going with on this. I'm going for Rhea Ripley. I don't want her to win, because I don't think she deserves to win. I think she's been that champion that doesn't really defend her belt. She goes around flaunting it, but I mean, she's not a people's champion. She's not what the women's champion needs to be. If Nia Jax were champion, she would take on all comers and would defend it like you should and represent WWE the way it needs to be, not the way Rhea Ripley is, which is it's just not a good look for the company. And now Rob is going to defend Rhea Ripley.
I don't need to defend Rhea Ripley. Look at the crowd every time Rhea Ripley comes out
She's
from
a
the locker room.
bossy, just telling Judgment Day what to do. I mean,
It's awesome.
who wants that person around?
That's
Rob is holding up his hand, by the way.
Every woman I've ever gone for in my life. It's exactly the kind of woman I like. Love Rhea Ripley. She's a good wrestler. She's a good talker. I'm not saying she's excellent. She's not the best at any one thing, but she's real good at everything. Good character work, good diversity of thought. She can come out in a rage to kick ass. She can come out cold and calculated when she needs to. Rhea Ripley is the prototype right now of women's professional wrestling. She is going over on Nia Jax. I know we're going to talk about in a minute. Bex is winning the chamber, and you are going to have a stare down that is going to create a pop of the year candidate when they do.
Oh, I'm yawning. Oh, I'm yawning so much.
Yawn on, hater.
You know what? Here's the thing, Rob.
The haters. They like to drink their haterade and eat their hater tots.
You got heel on heel action here. So which heel do you root for? I mean, how often is it heel versus heel? The true heel obviously is Nia Jax, because supposedly she hurts everyone she wrestles, but there are other wrestlers who supposedly do the same thing. I just, as far as matchups goes, this is the matchup right now in the women's division. The two most powerful women in wrestling right now. And I just hope it's a good match. I would love to see Nia win, because that would be great for her to defeat Rhea in her home country. We've seen that happen before. Drew McIntyre lost in his home country.
But I mean,
Sami Zayn lost in his home country.
You go back and you'll notice that
After all the build up, I'm in my home country. And if I was Rhea, I'd be a little bit worried about that.
There was obviously a common opponent, and there was a common storyline that wove a thread between those matches. It also created what I think is the payoff, which is a Avengers Endgame style finish to Roman's reign at WrestleMania, in which those people will play a role. Nia Jax is not Roman Reigns. You're not having Rhea lose her belt and her spot
in
her home country to Nia Jax.
Nia actually wrestles, and Roman just shows up once a month. It's a good gig if you can get it, I suppose. But one thing Nia will not be disturbed by is outside interference, because she could probably beat up everybody in the Judgment Day.
Could you imagine? Wait a minute. Yeah. But could you imagine, because she's got the tie, if the bloodline comes out and helps Nia Jax win? It might cause a nuclear implosion if the bloodline helps. It's not going to happen. It would be the funniest thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, it might be. All right. Undisputed Tag Team Championships. We'll get to the women's thing in just a second. Undisputed Tag Team Champions. Speaking of Judgment Day. Judgment Day, Damian Priest and Finn Balor going up against British Strong Style. Butch and Tyler Pete Dunne.
Thank you.
And Tyler Bate.
Wait is back.
I just got to believe that holding the championship in your, because I don't want to say belt, because Paul White will find me, holding the championship in your mouth, that's got to taste bad,
I don't think the Bruiser.
And how strong do your teeth have to be? Because I'm guessing those things are pretty heavy.
How is this? The guy makes the switch back to one of the most compelling NXT characters in recent memory, and your first thought is the belt must taste bad.
Yeah, and how strong his jawline must be to hold that thing as heavy as it is. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't think Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate are going to beat Judgment Day. I think the question is, will it be a clean victory, or will there be interference? I don't know if Dom is there or not, or JD. I don't know if they're there or not.
I have no answer for that. I'm going to go Judgment Day retains. I think they've got to stay involved. I would not be shocked. I don't think Paul Triple H Levesque gives Pete Dunne his old character back and then has him eaten. Actually, you know what? I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go with the bruiserweight, the big strong boy. I don't think they give him that character back and build that character back up to have him eat Nell in his first match. I'm going to go with they win, because if you're telling the Judgment Day story, I think the attention now has to shift over to Damian Priest and the Money in the Bank contract. So I'm going to go they strip the belts off the Judgment Day. It puts a little chink in the armor, and now we focus the story on Damian.
All right. True or false, the Grayson Waller effect will go off without any fisticuffs.
0% chance. 0 out of 0. No chance at all. I'm intrigued. Here's the thing. Dwayne put up a video last night.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Where Dwayne said, if Cody and his little girlfriend, Steph Rollins, talk smack, let me know and I'll show up. I'm not going, but if they start running their mouths, The Rock will show up to lay at the SmackDown. The Rock's 100% showing up in Perth. 100%. 100%.
So probably. He probably is. There's more likely he'll be there. We know maybe Solo and Jimmy will be there. So it's definitely going to break out into something and should be interesting. All right, finally, the women's elimination chamber match: Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Raquel Rodriguez. I don't want Becky to win this because I just don't. I don't think that she could stand up to all those women that are in this match. And I'm going to shock you with my pick to win this. I am picking Tiffany Stratton to win the Elimination Chamber.
First off, if I may.
Well, your name's on the show, so of course you may.
It doesn't matter what you think. Becky Lynch is winning this match.
It does, by the way.
Rhea v. Becky is the inevitable conclusion. I think Tiffany Stratton, who has been phenomenal.
Becky's daughter needs to let her eat some of those donuts so she can put some weight on. I don't know if you've seen those videos. Becky's trying to put weight on, and her daughter keeps taking the donuts and stuff.
She is ripped. No, she is shredded.
She is not.
What do you mean she's not?
She's not. She needs to put some of that weight back on. Back when her hair was flaming red and really long. And
Becky is shredded.
No. Shredded would be
the only one more shredded
Bianca
than her
Belair.
is Zoe and Bianca. Those are the only two in better shape than Bex. Either way, doesn't matter. Becky v. Rhea is going to be the end of the night stare down. It is going to rip the roof off of that place.
Disagree. I think Tiffany Stratton's going to win. It's going to shock everybody. They brought her up, and she looks like she belongs. Everyone's against her right now. She's the one that all the other women hate because she's annoying, and she is annoying. And I think she comes away with the victory. Get up at 5 a.m. and watch it. All right.
I'm not going to do that, by the way, just so we're all clear.
All right. We saw something for the first time that I recall in recent memory. WWE featured MMA fighters and boxers in the crowd. Michael Chandler got up and was given a mic and called out Conor McGregor. Do you think this is just the beginning of this? Will this cross over? Will we see some wrestlers show up at a UFC event and be given the same treatment? Because they show up to watch all the time. Triple H is there watching, so.
You will absolutely see crossover. Now, how much of that crossover ends up being competition? How much of it ends up being performance? I don't know, because you have tried that a number of times. Really, both companies have tried it, and with the exception of a very brief period of time where Paige Van Zant was kind of a feature in AEW, and she is obviously gone the other way. You also trotted out what's his face to face Brock Lesnar in WWE. What was the other heavyweight dude that Brock fought?
Cain Velasquez.
No, was it Cain Velasquez? I don't remember.
Yeah, and then he's kind of in jail.
Yeah.
So
you brought out a couple of different guys to go after Brock, kind of give you that angle, and it sucked. It didn't work because they thought, well, let's just have them kind of have a half-speed shoot fight, right? Like, let's have them actually UFC fight, and the reality is, it just doesn't work. So you'll see crossover because obviously TKO is invested in WWE and vice versa. So it helps for them to put big name fighters at least around the ring at pay-per-view events that are drawing a few million buys around the world. And you're also watch the next couple of UFC cards. You're going to start seeing the Bobby Lashleys and the Seth Rollins and the Cody Rhodes showing up at those events in the Sphere or whatever as well. It's just a financial decision.
Yeah, it's a good move, by the way. It's a very good move to have crossover. They don't have to be in the ring or the octagon. Just be out in the crowd to the point where if there are some people that don't know who that person is, maybe they look them up and maybe they're interested in what they do. Speaking of that, UFC had me for a long time. I was there with them for a long time. I was loving it. It was up and coming, and then they lost me last summer. And what I would like to do, I'm not begging, I'm just asking UFC, get me back. Get me back. And here's how you get me back. Here's how you get Lonzo back as
Fix my phone?
as a UFC.
Is it fix my phone?
No, my phone works. It's give me some cards, some really good cards, some stacked cards that make me go, I got to buy that. That's what I want. And maybe you start off with some free stuff, some fight nights, because football's over. This is your season. This is UFC season. Get me to the Olympics, UFC. That's what I want. I want to look forward to every Saturday night after I get done with my show, going home and watching UFC. Because right now, when you hear about these big fights getting ready to happen, like John Jones versus Stipe Miocic, and it doesn't happen, or other fights like that, and you look at a card that's supposed to be stacked, and then and people get hurt. That happens. But I want a stacked card. I want something that I'm willing to spend money on, and right now, they just don't have me anymore, and I hate that because I want to be able to talk about this every week. And the big name fights don't seem to be there.
I completely agree. I think for a while there, listen, I've told you what I think the mistake was a number of years ago. I thought the mistake a number of years ago that they made was they got to the point where they were focusing on, and this is also why I'm 0% surprised they ultimately got involved with WWE. It got to the point where they were more about the show and the production than they were the fights. It got to the point where it was less about the competition of the fights. It was less about the enjoyment of the fights, and it was more about the rapping and the lasers and the smoke and the hype and the smack talk and the press conferences. Here's how I know it got to the point where I saw advertisements for the pre-fight press conferences more than I saw for the fight. And when you're trying to sell me on, tune in and watch Conor McGregor stare down whatever can of soup he's fighting this week, as opposed to tune in to watch Conor McGregor fight this relative unknown, but who has all these regional championships and was on this circuit and that circuit and did this and that. When it came into watch McGregor verbally dress this guy down, instead of watch him fight, I was out. And that's the direction it's been going in. It's a problem not just with UFC MMA. It's a problem with boxing too. The more that you let it be about Gypsy King singing American Pie and Floyd Mayweather hanging out with whoever he's hanging out with this week, the more you focus on that, the less the people who like the sport care about the sport. And the reality is the people who follow for the drama, they don't pay for it. The people who follow it for the fights pay for it.
All right, one last thing before we go to break. Ric Flair showed up last night and said he is unhappy with his role in Sting's retirement. And he had a meeting with the EVPs in AEW last night. Is Flair the dirtiest player in the game?
Could you imagine the heat from a Flair turn on Sting for no reason in his last match? Be incredible.
Except for Flair has always turned on Sting. So, I mean, yeah.
One more for the road.
As someone said online, maybe this time Sting doesn't fall for it. We'll see. By the way, last night, one of Sting's best promos of all time.
I've heard. I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard. We got to take a break, kids. We come back. We wrap up the Thursday edition of the Rob Brown Show. It's Rob, it's Lonzo, it's you. It is the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, excuse me just a minute.
exciting game will be on Saturday. They'll take on the Tampa Bay Rays in Port Charlotte. The Rays are the defending NL East champions, but did lose in 4 games to the Philadelphia Phillies in October in the postseason. The Charlotte Hornets are back from the All-Star break. Tonight they're in Salt Lake City to take on the Utah Jazz. It's a 4-game trip for the Hornets, who entered the break on a 3-game win streak. Download the Odyssey app and search The Fan Upstate. Then listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Tony Gazzieri, and that's your Sports Flash on The Fan Upstate.
Sick and tired of achy joints? Dread the idea of surgery? You need to call QC Kinetics today. Hey, it's Charlie James. The state of healthcare is always changing. The old ideas like steroids and surgery are no longer your only option. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative, non-surgical, drug-free treatments that deliver lasting results. Knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain from arthritis or injury? Don't let this pain keep you from living your best life. QC Kinetics' advanced state-of-the-art treatments harness and direct your body's natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. This is a revolutionary technique that gives you long-term relief and no downtime. Make 2024 the year you reclaim your mobility, reclaim your independence, walk and run, play and live without the danger and trauma of surgery and without harmful drugs. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772. Greenville and Asheville.
Smith & James Fine Men's Clothing has been helping men in the upstate look their best for over 100 years. So you know they're reliable and trustworthy. And with custom-made suits, recreational wear, and unique college football polos you will not find anywhere else. With Smith & James, you'll have a unique style all your own and a fun, easy shopping experience to get it. Visit either of their stores in Greer or Greenville, or visit their website at smithandjames.com and look your best with Smith & James Fine Men's Clothing.
Tax Talk with Straight Talk.
It's tax season you get the Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a new Samsung Galaxy A15 for just $99. So you can give your janky phone to your kid.
Straight Talk. Switch to Straight Talk. The plan starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. In-store activation on single, silver, unlimited plan or higher required. Family plan discount.
That is hilarious. So these guys on this show every day, they do like a trivia thing at the end called Sneaky Ambo.
Yeah, I've seen it.
They just asked a question to Tim Legler, and the answer was Tim Legler, and he didn't know it. That's hilarious.
But the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, call a doctor. Visit NoTimeToWait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Brakes? We can save you 15% on that. We have OE quality Duralast brake pads and rotors in stock, ready for pickup or delivery. We also have calipers, brake fluid, tools, and anything else you'll need to do the job right. When you get Duralast pads and rotors together, you'll save 15%. It's just part of what makes us America's #1 brakes destination.
From the Ingalls Market Studio, The Fan.
Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville. 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
Always live from the Free Odyssey app. CBS Sports Radio. And now, Rob Brown presents Twitter.
All right, time for me to ask Rob what the X is going on, and he's going to tell everybody what it is and why it is and who it is and stuff. The first thing that's Xing.
Yo.
What's up? The first thing that's Xing is Ric Flair.
Oh, well, you just told us. Mere minutes.
No, for a different reason.
Oh, for a different reason?
Yes.
Ric Flair's cell phone does not work right now.
No, but we're going to get to that in a moment. The Rock is doing a biopic on Ric Flair.
Okay.
The Rock's production company is doing a biopic on Ric Flair. All right, so you interested in the biopic?
Am I interested in it? Yes, I'm obviously interested in it. I'm only interested. We talked about this with the Beatles biopic yesterday. I am genuinely only interested in it if they're going to actually tell the story. I am talking about the dark portions of the life too. If they're going to make
like
this
the plane crash and some other stuff,
the alcoholism, the cheating, all of these things, if they're not going to give me the actual story of Ric Flair, then no, I'm not interested in it at that point. And I don't know if they can, will, are going to. I doubt it. And if they don't, much like I said yesterday with the Beatles, then I'm dramatically less interested.
Who plays Ric Flair?
Zac Efron.
He's already he can't play two wrestlers.
Chris Evans is the Torch and Captain America.
That is true. And he was also in something else where it was a comic book character. He does that a lot. But Ric Flair is bigger than life. It's got to be someone bigger than life. It's got to be Bradley Cooper, right?
Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper's too old to play a young Ric Flair.
That's true. Well, they'd have to do different stages of his life if it's a biopic, right?
Yeah. I mean, again, like I think
Do you do that with makeup or do you do that with multiple actors?
No, I think you do. I don't know. I'm interested. Like I said, it really to me just comes down to you got to tell the ugly part of the story. If you're doing biopics where you are only talking about the stuff that people on TV, it's pointless.
And are they going to show the older son, Dustin, being left at home, and then later on Cody getting,
Well, listen, Ric Flair's got.
By the way, that's two different things. That's two different things.
Ric Flair's got multiple kids, which some are very tragic stories.
Yeah.
You don't tell those, I'm not interested.
Yeah, Charlotte. I mean, who plays Charlotte? There's just so many things about who could be what. But yeah, will Dusty Rhodes be in there? Will all the wrestlers, will they have to? Because think of them, they just did it with the Young Rock.
Yep.
So will they bring in actors that were in Young Rock to be in the biopic to play all those characters like Iron Sheik and all those guys and Sting and guys that Ric Flair had a lot to do with, Ricky Steamboat? I mean, will they do all that? I don't know.
Such a long career. Honestly, it's such a long career. I don't even know how you fit it all in.
Interactions in every decade with all the biggest names out there. And so, yeah, it's going to be interesting. All right. The next thing that's trending or Xing is Down Detector. I don't know. What is a Down Detector?
Down Detector is a website where you can go if you are experiencing connectivity issues with any service, server, network, whatever. Down Detector is a kind of a crowdsourced site where you go and you log in and you say, hey, all right, I tried to get on Call of Duty this morning at 4:30 and the servers were unavailable. So if somebody has an issue, like if they, got to work at, let's say 4:30 in the morning and grabbed their cell phone and desperately needed to send a text to somebody and it said, hey, no network, you can go to Down Detector, and other people will say, yes, I'm not going to say what server, but let's say there was AT and T in the name, right? Like there were some letters.
Those are common letters, yeah.
And one was a T, and then there was an T. Then you could go and search for whatever coincidental server you happen to be on. And obviously Down Detector got a lot of traffic this morning because the apocalypse is here. No, my phone does not work yet.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if your phone, so it's still down. That's bad. How is the world still functioning? And finally, hashtag National Chili Day.
I'm all right. I'm a big chili guy.
Chili has to have beans in it or it's not chili.
No. Much like barbecue, there is a variety of styles within that genre of food that qualifies as that thing. Now, you can prefer it with beans in it. You can prefer it with meat. You can prefer it with no beans. You can prefer it with no meat. You can prefer it with sour cream, with cheese,
no chili.
without those things, whatever. Chili's chili. There's different styles. There's different tastes. And as far as I'm concerned, in the eyes of me, all chili is created equal as long as it's got some spice to it.
And you should have to pay extra for it on your hot dog.
Correct, because then it's a chili dog. That's it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Lonzo and I interviewing our truth here in about half an hour. We'll play that interview for you tomorrow on the show. We also have a whole show to do tomorrow. So come back. Have a great rest of your Thursday. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. The Rob Brown Show returns tomorrow on the Fan Upstate. Yeah!
My daughter is texting saying, "Aren't you glad you guys all switched networks?"
Did she talk you into switching networks?
She works for that company, so yes.
Fair enough.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes.
All right, you gonna take us off the thing?
Yeah, we got to go get ready for a no Skyline chili. Okay, I take it back, Steven. You are correct. All chili is chili except Skyline chili, which is an abomination unto
It's
the
not
food gods.
It's not good. Skyline
It's
chili
trash.
is not good. I don't understand the appeal. And yes, I am from Ohio.
It's hot trash. It's garbage, and it should be the only way to properly consume Skyline chili is to open the can, turn it upside down over a dumpster. That's the proper way to get rid of Skyline chili. Y'all have a good day. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.